And so, with a round of applause, let's invite Miss Atre Dazi to give us the opening prayer.
Good morning, please. Shall we be upstanding? Or no, I think because of the space, just close your eyes wherever you are. All right, so I'm sure we are all believers gathered here. Let us begin to bless the name of the Lord. If you can speak in the language of the Spirit, please let us pray. Father, we thank you so much for this morning. We thank you for the life we have. We thank you for the opportunity you've given us to be here. Father, we are not just here to be here. We know you have a reason for this gathering. And so we invite your presence and we commit this entire program into your hands. We pray that you take absolute control. We commit every part of this program into your hands. We pray for the speakers, oh God. We pray that your hand will come upon them. Let your spirit, oh God, let them utter the words you want them to utter this morning. May their words bless us and may we not leave the same. Father, we thank you so much that we have come to be blessed. And because you are here, indeed we will be blessed. In Jesus' mighty name, amen.
Thank you so much for that powerful prayer. Now, this is the Growth Breakfast 2025, organized by the Hangout with Roselyn, which is an initiative founded by Madame Roselyn Fosua Ej. Today, we have the privilege of feeding from the insights of industry experts. For our first speaker, we have Mr. Yao Empare. Let's acknowledge him. And Amen. For the second speaker, we have Madame Kokui Salome. At the right time, we will introduce them so that we can. I know you came loaded with questions, so don't worry. So I'm not the MC for today, but our MC is an international, award-winning MC. Please, ladies and gentlemen, with a round of applause, let's invite Kali Metal Tutu.
Hello, everyone. Hey, really, is that me? Wow, I'm going international. Hallelujah, somebody. Amen, amen. Okay, well, this is not church, by the way. It's not church, but of course, we've invited the Spirit of God here, so everything is in order, yeah. All right, how are we all doing? How are we doing? I think some people are hungry, Charlie, the breakfast, yeah. Anyway, once again, you're all welcome to Hangout with Roselyn 2025, the second of its kind, and it promises to be super amazing. You're going to hear from very seasoned speakers. They've already been introduced, and we're going to grab very invaluable and insightful take-homes. So please, it's going to be interactive. Make sure that you pay attention, make sure that you engage, and make sure that you network. At the end of the day, you should be taking new network of friends and connections home. So Roselyn's objective or aims with this initiative is to basically develop a platform or a stage where everybody can benefit from seasoned personalities and experts in their field. You can learn, you can develop, and also build your capacity. And at the end of the day, you don't leave here the same. All right. My name is Kali Metal-Tutu, as she rightly said. I would love to know your names. We would love to know each other, so that when you meet someone next time, you don't say, Madam. Oh, this lady cry, I've forgotten her name. Okay, so we're going to do something, a little icebreaker. I was supposed to get a ball, but looking at the glasses and here, everything here, we can't throw balls. So we'll pass this box round, and it's going to be voluntary. It's going to be random. So I'm starting with the first lady on my right. Yes, ladies first. So please tell me your name. Tell us if you were here last year, and then you tell us your take-homes from last year. Then you tell us your expectation for today. Yes, so please go ahead. Does she have a microphone?
Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Agatha. I love to be called Gathi. Yeah, most people know me by my brand name, which is Polygath, so I'm fine. If you call me Polygath, I'll respond. Last year I was here. I was here to support Roselyn. Roselyn is a customer 10 sweetheart. Yeah. So, I mean, I've made it a point, I've told myself that anytime she's hosting this hangout, I'll be there, unless I'm out of Ghana. But if I'm here, I'll make the time for it. Last year was a blessing to me. For me, I think I took the stage at the latter part. It wasn't really planned. But what really hits me last year was the fact that there's so much opportunity for us to grow individually and as a community. And seeing the number of people here today too, I'm looking forward to bonding more, networking more. And there are still contacts I took last year that we are still in touch, which for me is the real deal. Yeah, so today I'm looking forward to getting to know new people. I've seen Yao Mpari so many times, but I've never spoken to him before. So opportunity, Kokwi too. She actually went to Holy Child. I did too. So at least today I'll have the opportunity to also network with these two. And then all of you, really. Thank you.
Amazing. Do it better for Agatha. Polygath. What do you do? What does Polygath mean? What business is it?
Polygath is a clothing brand. So
Clothing
I'm wearing
brand.
one of my designs.
Also, are you wearing one of them?
Exactly.
Wow. I so want to covet it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, but that's not the only thing I do.
Okay.
Polygath is actually, I don't like to call it like my side business. It's a business, so, but I'm not a full-time entrepreneur. I'm actually an HR manager for an NGO. So that's my 9 to 5. I'm an HR professional, yeah.
That's amazing. Please do it better for her. So you're passing the box to the next person and he or she does their introduction. Oh, she's so close to you. Anyway.
Okay. Am I supposed to do something with this?
No, so you do the same thing she did, and when you're done, you pass it randomly to anyone not necessarily close to you, and they also do the same thing. So you tell us your name, what you do, if you were here last year, what you took away, and then today, your expectations.
Okay, all right. So my name is Achreda Z, and yes, what I do, I'm a digital marketer. So I was here last year. Yes, and it was a great session. And my takeaway was that for, I call her LP Roselyn, she's my pastor. So what she's doing now wasn't what she wanted to do. So that flexibility of allowing God to direct her path, that was what I really took away. And today, too, is no exception. I'm really looking forward to learning something new and, of course, connecting with new people as well. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. It's such an honor to be here. My name is Emmarin Luti, and I am the founder of the Climate Sociologist, which is a youth empowerment organization that is spearheaded towards climate education. And we are the organizers of Green Tales, which is a high school competition on creative arts and climate education. And unfortunately, I wasn't here last year, although I had registered because I was out of town. And today I look forward to hearing from my role model, my lady captain planet, as well as Kokwi. Like, Kokwi doesn't know that I've been following her for a very long time. So.
We all follow her, don't we?
Yeah, and also with our finance experts. So it's really important for us, especially young ladies, to both have the drive and also have knowledge in finance. So I'm really elated to be here, and I cannot wait to hear what they have for us. I will randomly pass it on to someone I suspect is a relative of Miss Roselyn.
Is it?
Suspect, I don't know if I'm right.
Let's see if your suspicions are right. Are they right? Very right. Oh, wow.
Right. Okay, thank you. I'm Betty Ajay, a sister of Roselyn. I wasn't here the last time that it was organized, but today I'm here. I'm here to learn a lot. She's my sister, and I know how knowledgeable she is. I want her to inspire me today. Not a home inspiration. I want something different today. Okay, so that's why I'm here today. Thank you. I'm a teacher anyway. I teach.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And I love teaching a lot.
So today you also teach us something new before you go.
Okay.
Amazing. Okay, let's do it better for her. I hope we are taking note of the names. Okay. So please pass it on to someone randomly.
Okay, good morning, everybody.
We've not had a gentleman speak yet.
Okay, so my name is Justicia Sego. I wasn't here last year, even though I registered, I was somewhere else. So I'm looking forward to have a live transforming message from our guest speakers because Auntie Roselyn is also my role model. I look up to her because she's also my pastor. I'm a professional in hospitality, but I'm open to other avenues. So, yeah, I'm here to have fun, enjoy, and learn. Thank you.
Great. Let's put it together for her. Okay, our first man.
Good morning. My name is Derek. I was here last year, and it was very insightful. I'm a humble graduate from the University of Ghana, and I'm here to...
Why humble?
I'm here to learn, and I'm here to network. Thank you.
Okay, you are here to learn. Okay, network.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Police Corporal Kweku Atapenyi.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and I was invited by a good friend, Isaac, who is part of the crew, and it's my first time. I'm hoping to learn much. Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Police Corporal. I hope you won't be arresting any of us. Okay, you're not in your uniform, so we are safe. Okay.
Good morning. My name is Andy J. Amwako, and last time we had a hangout with Roselyn, I was available, and then I gained a lot of insights and advice from like-minded people, and today I expect that I hear more success stories that will impact my life. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Did you say Andy? Andy, thank you. Okay, so the next group of people, what I want you to do is, if you were here last year, tell us maybe the success story or the impact last year's session has made on you, on your life personally. So Andy, please pass it on.
Hello, my name is Samuel Iselakwa, and I was here last year.
Samuel, please stand so we can see you.
Do you see me?
We see you very well.
So, as I said, my name is Samuel Iselakwa. I was here last year. And one thing I took from last year's event was to show up and show up confidently. And this has been with me after the event last year. And I think last year moved me from one point to another in my life. Because certain things are there I didn't used to do, but now showing up confidently and even being here alone is something that I think after the event would move me to a different portion or aspect of my life. Thank you.
That's amazing. Give it up for Samuel.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Joseph Labi Ochre.
Joseph Labi Ochre. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a geospatial analyst. I was here last year. Last year was really beautiful. It was a great experience. What I took away from last year was Auntie Roselyn told us that when you are confronted with a tax, you should not look at how big the tax is. You should rather look at how to give results, give the best of results, so that you would be able to match up to even bigger tax that you are faced with. So what you are looking forward to is to just give it your best and give the best of results. I was able to connect with amazing people last year. I think I met Ofebia here. I don't know if she's here. An amazing lady. I don't think she's here yet. So I look forward to connect to more people this year. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. What does a geospatial analyst do? Okay,
so a geospatial analyst basically uses geospatial data, usually the geography. I'm more into using ArcMap and other geospatial tools like ArcGIS, basically ArcGIS, to analyze the geography of an area, to understand how things work in the area, basically. Thank you.
That's amazing. Nice to learn. Okay, thank you. Who's the next person? Hey, this table, you don't want to talk. If you don't talk, you eat breakfast.
The box doesn't want to go around.
And the way they are all seated comfortably. Hey, this table. I'll give you a name. Should I give you a name? Not yet. Okay. So who is speaking? Who is the table head? Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Mami Asari. So what I took home last year was be intentional about everything you're doing. You don't have to maybe delay in certain things you do. Like, just do it with those intentions that if I'm doing something, I'm doing it to my whole knowledge, to my whole best. So, like, just do everything intentional with everything that you have. That is what I took home last year. And this year, I hope to take more and more. And for Auntie Roselyn, she's like my number one fan, like forever. Yeah, so, and I am so glad to be in the same space with Mr. Ampari. I've been seeing him a lot at church, but I haven't shared a space with him, so I'm very privileged too.
Wow. Mr. Ampari, we are all privileged, though, to me. That's amazing. Very great insights from you. Okay.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So my name is Jeremiah Benjamin. Please take note, it's a very long name. So Jeremiah Benjamin Ewuku Hadiku. So
one person.
I told you. So I wasn't here last year. I just came to know of it just yesterday by a very good friend and someone I take as a senior brother. He's seated right next to me. I trust his judgments, and I'm here just to learn and then connect with more of you guys. Thanks.
Thank you too. All right, shall we pass the box on?
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Edwin Inimado. Stand, okay, sure. There's no space, sorry. All right. So my name is Edwin Inimado. I wasn't here last year, but I'm hoping to learn from this space. I'm on a journey of finding a lot of knowledge about business, entrepreneurship, and a whole lot. And I was glad when a friend invited me here. So I'm hoping to learn. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ernest. And then, can we move to the last table or the last row?
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is...
Please stand.
So, hello, everyone. My name is Estalina Ampim. I couldn't make it last year, but I'm here this year as a young professional trying to learn from those who've gone ahead of me. So, yes, that's why I'm here.
Thank you, Estelina, the lady with the biggest fro in the house. Okay.
Yeah, hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Raymond Kofi Sechi. I wasn't here last year, but I know what I can get out from this because I worked with Madam Roselyn for close to 6 years. Yeah, I used to work with her at Forestry Commission, and I'm currently working as the regional manager for Partnership for Forest. Thank you.
Wow, thank you.
Hello, good morning. My name is Dawood Mohammed. I was here last year. Last year was very impactful and engaging. What I took from last year's Hangout was be bold and speak confidently for yourself. And this year, as a finance, I'm passionate about finance, so I'm looking forward to learn new ideas and perspectives from Mr. Opari. Thank you.
Thank you. I can see you are so bold. I like the boldness with which you spoke. Okay. We have a few more to go. About 2 more.
Hi, good morning. I'm Rosemary Shimele, and I'm a mentee to Auntie Roselyn and Mr. Ampari. And it's a great pleasure to be here. I'm hoping to gather more knowledge here, and I brought 2 of my people to also benefit from them. Thank you.
Okay, so can we have the last person?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Foster Ochiri Echampo. I'm excited to be here. I missed last year, even though I registered. I'm here to be inspired, motivated, and then networked also. All right, thank you.
Thank you, thank you. All right, let's give it up for everybody who spoke. Great. Okay, so I think I remember Agatha, I remember Samuel, I remember the geospatial analyst, is it Ernest? Joseph, okay. I remember the gentleman with a long name, what's the name? Jeremiah, and some other long names. Okay, all right. But I hope that we've all, made new friends or heard about people's stories, what they learned from last year and their expectations. So let's do well to take the opportunity to network when the opportunity presents itself during breakfast or even after the session. All right. Are we ready? Are we ready for Hangout with Roselyn 2025? Oh, I need more energy in the house. Are we ready? Okay. Do we have my song ready? Do they feel the vibe? Yes, do you have it ready? Okay. So we are going to do some energizing activity. Are we ready? Are we ready? Okay. Before that, tell me who you remember, whose name you remember. This time, I'm coming to you myself, those who didn't speak.
I remember Roselyn.
You remember? Everybody remembers Roselyn, don't we?
Yeah.
Mention another name.
Jeremiah.
Jeremiah, okay. All right, tell me, who do you remember?
Mami.
Mami what? Mami always has a second name attached. Okay, tell me who you remember.
I remember Samuel.
Samuel.
Tell me who you remember. Estalina.
Estalina, a round of applause for them. Okay. All right, can we have the song ready? Can we please be upstanding? Yes.
Let's
so
go.
Before you receive the speakers, you have to be motivated. You have to be more energized so that you'll be alert and awake for them.
Let's go.
Okay, everyone, let's do this. Even if you can't dance, you can move your shoulders. Move your shoulders and your arms.
Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Can we do it together? You don't feel that vibe. I feel that vibe. Energy. You don't feel that vibe.
No breaking away. Okay, so if you don't have space, please don't move. If you don't have space, don't move.
Let's go.
Okay, so let's do this. Okay, you can go down if you can, if you have space. Okay. Thank you. Please be seated. We have limited space, so we'll just manage our space, and then maybe when we are done, we move outside. We can do more of the, energizing activity. But I hope we are all energized. Are we energized? Okay, great. So at this point, I would like to introduce our convener, our host, the visionary behind Hangout with Roselyn. You just heard the name. She's Roselyn Fosia Ejay. She is a professional in the space of climate change, and she is a policy expert in that space as well. She's very well traveled, she's very well schooled at the University of Edinburgh, and she's recognized for her various significant contributions in the field of climate policy action. And she also received She also received an honor with the Humphrey Fellowship in Leadership. So without much ado, she's also a wife, she's a mother, she's a mentor to so many. And she's doing this because she wants to inspire and pass on the knowledge, the expertise, great values, knowledge, wisdom, and share with the younger ones gathered here today. Without much ado, let's receive the one and only Roselyn for CIJ. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Now, Hangout with Roselyn. Hey. I'm not feeling the vibe. Hangout with Roselyn. Hangout with Roselyn. And we are here to show today. Thank you so much for your time. A very good morning. And sincere apologies. Some 1 or 2 assignments came in whilst I was coming here, so I couldn't be here when we started. But I'm very thankful to all of you. When Now was introducing me, she said the visionary behind this. I was just thinking, am I the visionary? There are some 5 people here. The crew, they're actually the visionaries. They pushed me to have this. And they said it was time for us to move out because the blessing of God is not just for myself. There are many people who must encounter this blessing in different forms. And the beauty of it is that, and I know that at the end of the sessions I'm going to come around, how that blessing has linked me with other people and I'm able to bring those people here. You've seen, I started seeing Kokoy on TV a long time ago. I never thought I'd have the opportunity to even see her, much less be with her in the same room for such a program. I've met Carly just once. Mr. Mpari, we met some way, somehow, and then we ended up in church. But today they are here. These are no mean people. You heard from Gassi. They are very fantastic people. We are not paying them to be here. We can't pay them. Yeah. We can't pay them. So if you are here today, all I want to say is they have a lot. I saw Koko's slides this morning. I was like, we are in for something wonderful. Yes. The learning that we are, you see my tablet. I hope you brought your writing parts, and we have some books around too, but the books, they'll be given to those who are interactive. Those who let us feel the vibe. I mean, for those who know me, you know that the vibe must vibe. But right now, I'm trying to behave myself. I'm trying to comport myself. Let's learn. After everything, then the vibe will come on. But thank you so much for your time. I'm very grateful to our resource persons. I look forward to learning. Please look forward to learning. Be intentional about your time here. You might not be paying to be here, but your time, I cannot pay for. So the value that you bring on board, the time you are spending here, make it count. You could have used that time elsewhere. Thank you so much and welcome.
Let's appreciate Roselyn with a bigger round of applause. Amazing woman. Amazing. So Roselyn is a mentor to most of us here. I met her for the first time at a huge conference with over 300 people. And then I just connected with her. I think she has something very unique about her. And then I'm glad for the opportunity to do this with you and for you, Roselyn. Okay, now over to our resource persons. We are very blessed to have very seasoned guests and resource persons to share their wealth of knowledge and expertise with us. The first person is a gentleman. They say ladies first, but today we are saying the gentleman first. Okay, so he's a leader in business, finance, and transformation. He has so many years of experience in the field of finance, and he's currently in charge of new business and investments with GMPC. Today he's here to share so much with us. I've seen him, on the microphone as a pastor. Yes, in those days, you see him in his suit, and that one, he's so much on fire. But today, he's in a political suit, not a tie. So I'm sure he'll be more gentle on us. But he is really, really a powerhouse, and there's so much in for us to hear from him. So let's receive Mr. Yao Mpari with a round of applause.
Thank you very much. Wow. Somebody say wow. I really want to thank, I call it Honorable Roselyn for this. You know, the first time I saw her do something related to what she does was outside this country somewhere. And I stood quietly in the corner watching her, and I was like, what a powerhouse. She was speaking to thousands of people representing Ghana. So I really appreciate this opportunity, and I celebrate you. You know, we have to celebrate some heroes. You know, we are in Ghana here, and sometimes we don't even appreciate the people around us. I saw her out of this country, somewhere far away from Ghana. So this is a great powerhouse. And if you are here today, you are relating with somebody who's going to be very, very big in this country. She's already big, but will be very, very big. Amen. And nice meeting you, Kokui, as well. The way you were presenting the program, I was like, now what was I doing? As my pastor would say, am I playing volleyball? Or all right, thank you very much. So I'm going to have a conversation with you this morning. It's going to be very interesting. You know, I'm going to talk about something that's related to personal development. I'm not going to do finance. I'm a finance person, but I practice petroleum economics. If I'm going to talk about those things, it's going to be boring in this place. But I want to talk about some of the key things that have helped me in my career, and things that I think will be very beneficial to you as young people. And this is very fulfilling. You know, the first time I used to lecture at UPSA, Petroleum Economics, the MBA class. The first time I stood to talk or speak to them or lecture them, I felt very fulfilled. Because I believe that the greatest treasure is actually pouring into people your years of experience. I wasn't using a notebook, I wasn't using a textbook, I was just speaking because it's something I'd practiced over years. So I really thank God for this opportunity, and I pray that you will have an experience in this place. I'm also itching. You know, anytime I meet great people, I like to learn. When my pastor is preaching, I'm looking sternly into his eyes. When I go to places and people are speaking, I never open my mouth to talk. So some of you have never heard me speak until the last time I spoke in church. And I said, hey, this man, he's a quiet man. I'm not a quiet man. Kale will tell you. When I used to preach in a former church, you know. So I'm going to talk about a topic, show up. Tell somebody, show up. And, you know, when I heard the comments from last year's show, I was like, am I doing a revision of what was said last year? Maybe I should have shown my slides to Roselyn for her to say, no, don't do this one again. But I'll do it again. Because we have to repeat it, we have to hear it, we have to meditate on it until we become. What you keep reading, you know, when somebody stands to talk, the person is a composition of what he or she has read, who he or she has listened to, where he or she has been. What you've seen in life will influence the way you talk, the way you behave, the way you communicate, the way you act. Even your attitude will be based on what you've read, heard, and seen. So if you've seen little, you act little. If you've heard little, you act little. And if you've read little, you act little. So there was a national service boy who was, you know, reading a book in my office. So I said, now, Kush, you know the book he was reading? The Diary of a CEO. I was like, now, national service, why are you reading Diary of a CEO? Now, national service, when are you going to become a CEO? You know, because he's in the corporate body, not an entrepreneur. So I decided, okay, let me just take a view of the book. I looked at it and I was like, this is one of the most powerful books I've ever seen. How many of you have seen that book? In fact, how many of you like to read? Hey, if you don't like to read, yeah, we are already in Ghana, third world country. But God didn't make us. Social media, TikTok, Instagram, I'll talk about all those things. So, can I get some slides here? Is it possible? So I can just, if I can see with my, yeah, good. So, show up. Tell somebody, show up. Just give me the next slide. Let's just, have a few conversations over here. So there are 3 types of people in this world. Those who make things happen. They make things happen. When they get into the space, things are transformed. There are some people that people fight over in certain offices because they've got peculiar skills and capabilities. There was a young lady who came for national service at my office. She was so excellent in presentations, every department was fighting over her. She made things happen. The bosses will like to, do some presentation somewhere. We'll just give it to Wendy, and Wendy will turn it around. She made things happen. There were 3 national service people, but Wendy was always going to the chief executive's office because she had something special. She was making things happen. The second category of people are those who watch things happen. They watch. So you are in a space and you don't really care about, whether you contribute or not, or whether it goes well or not. And, I'm just there. What I do, I'm just there. And you never go for a meeting having an understanding of what is about to be discussed. You sit in a meeting and you are on your mobile phone. When I'm in church and you send me a text on WhatsApp, I don't read it. My WhatsApp is not even on because the word of God coming is so precious to me. In the same mood, when I'm in the office and there's a serious meeting, I want to grasp everything. I'm not on my phone. I'm not watching things happen. I want to be a contributor. You want to be a contributor in this life. So I'm talking about showing up, but this statement is very powerful. Then there are others who wonder, like what happened. You know what that means? Like by the time we are done with the Hangout with Roselyn, they'll say, so what really happened? So if you give the microphone to the person, so what did we say? So it was very powerful. A lot of things were said. Kokui was here, Roselyn was here, and we heard a lot of things. There are many people like that. And one of the things that really hurt is when you go out for a very serious meeting, you've traveled out of Ghana, and you are in a meeting, and the meeting is actually ongoing, and people are on their mobile phones. Our people. Then in the middle of the meeting, they'll just lift up their heads and ask one interesting question. You're like, were you not part of the meeting? These wise, they can also tell you, we've already said that. And so when we're saying it, where were you? You were wondering or watching, just watching. You were even disengaged from what was happening. So what I want to talk about this morning is about being engaged, making things happen, being that person that can be depended on, relied on, being that special person in the room. Not that you are just the loudest person. There are loud people who carry nothing but mist and wind and have no value and substance in the things that they talk about. But I'm talking about somebody who sits at the table and is preferred among others. Are you with me this morning? Or do I sound so intense? We're all relaxed. Great. Next slide, please. I have 30 minutes, so I have to. So I have this acronym, PIE, about showing up, being present. You see, a lot of us are present over here, but some of us are thinking about our boyfriend. Some of us are thinking about the breakfast, the aroma. Some of us are thinking about what we are going to do after here. Some of us are thinking about politics. So you are present physically, but disengaged. Emotionally, and even through your thoughts, you are disengaged. You are here, I'll go to Roselyn, hang out with Roselyn, and still come and sit here and then, just be thinking about something else. So you have to be present as a person. You are going to be showing up. Be present, not just physically. Because there could be a lot of people in the room. We are seeing faces over here. But those who are really curious, listening to what's going on, you can actually see it in their eyes. You can tell from their reactions and tell from their responses. When you are somebody who is a public speaker standing in front of people, the front row is very critical to you because some people will sit there can actually discourage you. Especially if you're a preacher, you are preaching, the man is not smiling, the man is not nodding, he's saying nothing, he's just looking at you with a very stern face. You'll be discouraged. So sometimes you see that your pastors or public speakers move from one space to another space and keep looking somewhere else. Because if you keep looking at that guy, you'll be discouraged. Intentionality. We're going to see a picture that talks about intentionality. You have to be intentional. Really. There's so much to say about being intentional. Even appearing on time is intentionality. You can be on time, before time, and within time. If you want to be that professional that will be relied on, you must be intentional. Intentional about your skills. Intentional about who you want to become. I always ask people, when you close your eyes, what do you see about yourself, or how do you see yourself in 5 years' time? There's a framework, I was studying. It's called the minimum regret framework. The minimum regret framework is that you project yourself as someone who is 80-year-old and you are looking back at your younger self and trying to advise your younger self things that you shouldn't have done or should have done at the age 80. So when you do that exercise, you realize that there are certain things that you are doing now that will cost you in the future. Maybe now you are fine. I mean, young lady, you don't want to learn new things. People are coming from university, they can't use Microsoft Excel, they can't use Microsoft Word. I'm like, how can I work with you? You don't do PowerPoint, Excel, Word. They can't even open folders. They will tell you I'm coming from University of Ghana, University of Cape Coast, University of that. Those ones who help us are the ones maybe from Ashesi. But all our universities can become like that if we have sessions like this. So the guy who said you're a humble graduate, you're a graduate, you're not a humble graduate. Don't be like that. It's a session that will help you to scale up your life, scale up your capabilities. This week in our office, in my Monday meetings, I normally have sessions with my team. And we don't we don't talk about petroleum economics, no, so you have to do this, that. No. I try to work on their mindset. So we're talking about energy and capacity. You can have very low energy and high capacity, or low capacity and high energy. How do we marry it? So I had my team sit down. When I was walking into the office, I had only two things in mind: low and high, low and high. But the first conversation from someone said low, medium, and high. I'm telling you these things because I'm talking about how you can be actually intentional about your life, intentional about your skills or capabilities. You see, we have Facebook and we have LinkedIn and we have Instagram. I don't know which one you are on. Some of us, we are everywhere. The Antichrist will not struggle at all to find us. All these things are towards Antichrist, I'm telling you. So, I don't like LinkedIn. You know why I don't like LinkedIn? LinkedIn can depress you. Unless you are doing wonderful things like Roselyn, But you can go there and see your classmate and you're like, hey, but this guy didn't know anything in the class. Hey, or da. One day, my wife just texted me and said, you did piano or link this. I said, oh, wait, Koto. She just knows how to brand herself and things. But you see, as if she was joking. Last week, I saw a video of her inaugurating, a hotel as a CEO. Intentionality. You don't know certain things, and you are there. We are in March. I didn't come here to scare you. I'll tone down, okay? We're in April, right? I like your thinking. March is finished. Next week, Thursday, is my birthday. We're in April. The difference between you and the one you admire is that, one, he or she is doing something that you're not doing. Or he or she is not doing something that you are doing. Should I repeat it? The difference between you and the one you admire is that he or she is doing something you are not doing. So when you go to LinkedIn, instead of you being intimidated, you go and look at their skills and capabilities and try to follow after their skills. If you're a finance person, the guy who said it's finance, it's not enough to have a finance degree. You have to be a qualified accountant. I was a qualified accountant at the age 23. I chartered at 23 years. Those times in Ghana, you didn't have a lot of people around that age because I was intentional. When everybody was going to do first degree, my dad said, you won't do first degree. Some of you don't listen to your parents. So no, me, that's the thing. We all have to go to the university. No, he said, you're not going. But I did my first degree, my chartering, and still did my master's. Intentionality. You want to be a finance person. When I don't even do ACCA, CA, those ones, there's CFA. When you finish CFA, everybody's coming after you. I'm not talking about finance. I'm just talking about intentionality. It's going to cost you. If you're going to be intentional, it's really going to cost you. Because you can't act like anyone or be like anyone. Let me give you this interesting story. There's a gentleman that walked into my office and, in those times we used to have newspapers. So there was a big page, one page, and there was this nice lady on that page. So I was like, wow, what a wonderful lady. The guy said, this woman. I went to office and she locked me in her office. You know why she locked him in the office? I'll leave the story for later. But she was very careless about her life. You know where I'm coming from. She locked the man in the office and wanted to have something to do with the man. So yes, like many years after, the guy walks in and then sees the face and makes a comment about her. That's what we call the performance, image, and exposure. If you think that you're going to be so skillful and it's going to get you to where you want to get to, performance is just 10%. That's what we call image. What they say about you when you leave the room. What they say about you when they hear your name. Some guys, when they hear us, oh, this guy is a girl's prefect. You know, a comment from someone can actually derail you from your job. Can let you lose your job. There was this young lady who was in the office. Every time, you know, when there's something funny, she would laugh. Very loudly. So one day I walked out to my wife and said, hey, Papa, there's a living room. Are you in your father's living room? Why do you laugh? Like we are in an official space. And you know, the kind of work that we do is modeling, financial modeling. So the place must be so quiet. This girl doesn't understand the modeling. So when I said it, she said, oh, you need to leave every day you're worrying. I said, okay. She was national service. You have some book, I'm very disrespectful. Then she finished her service and was coming for an interview. So somebody had to sit in that interview and the person was ill on that day. So they said I should sit in the interview. He says, some of you, I'll meet you in some interviews. Some of you meet Kokwe, you meet Roselyn in some interviews. And when he says, oh, this one was at Hangout, that one guy, it even sets the way for you. You have to be intentional about life. So this lady walks into the room and sees me sitting and then just bends like that. I said, don't bend, come and sit down. Before she entered the room, I told her, leave this girl for me. I wasn't going to punish her. I was going to save her and talk about the things that she has spoken about. Because, you know, you make mistakes in your life because you are not intentional. You are in a space and you are taking it for granted that, oh, it's just national service. Oh, I'm just an employee. No way. You have to show up, be intentional. Performance, image, and the third thing is exposure. That's like 60%. Who you know and who knows you. Whether you like it or not. Who you know and who knows you works all over the world. Don't say it's only Ghana. Ghana there is who you know. Even in abroad is who you know. If you are rising up the corporate ladder, it's who you know and who knows you. You know, you are sitting over here, or you are seated over here thinking that everybody here is just normal and average and, you know, normal. When I was quite young, I'm still young, it's the stubbornness of people that has given me this wide break. I used to sit on my one. There used to be this young lady every day passing in front of my house. She would pass by and have a conversation. I was very young. I was like maybe 19, 18. And she would come and then she would, we'll talk, have conversations, spiritual conversations. She was taking things serious. I said, girl, rather than near brace, every day she wants to have a conversation. The last time I met her, she was an owner of like a programming school. She's very big. Regina Ejari. Some of you have heard her name before. Regina is very big. And I went there and I was like, is this Regina? I never knew Regina was going to become like that. You have to be very intentional about who you are talking to and the contacts you're having over here because you never know who this person around you is. And let me tell you, if you think you know yourself, you don't know yourself. You have no idea who you could become or who you even are. God has a way of unraveling us page after page, day after day, year after year. Maybe today I'm speaking to you like this over here in this room. I might be somewhere doing Roselyn's 10,000. It's my dream. Maybe standing somewhere talking to just a large number. She also has a dream, maybe 10,000 to 1 million people. Don't be on Facebook showing something that 1 million people are excited and that doesn't make sense. Be intentional about whatever you're doing. So performance, image, and exposure. I tell people this all the time. In my previous job, I was recruited out of Ghana. So all the interviews, 5 interviews out of Ghana, right? So the first day they saw me in Ghana was when I walked into the office. So the CEOs in the office were very upset with me. I don't know, you know Ghana, how we behave. So they just didn't like me. So the guy will come greet everybody, and then when he gets to my table, just walk away. Oh, so I said, you know, I'm a man of prayer too. So I'll wake up at dawn, leave my house at 4 a.m. and walk in and just be mentioning the name of the CEO and the leadership. Then one day he was doing something on his desk. And it's finance, you know. I'm very good with, you know, economic modeling, financial modeling. So as he was doing, he called one of the engineers that, Charlie, I'm trying to do this thing, and I'm not getting it right. They said, oh, there's somebody in that corner there. Let's go and call him. So for 1 year, he never said hello to me, passing by me all the time. Then When he called me on that day, so when I got to his office, I saw him doing something. I said, no, it's not correct. He said, how can you tell me? I said, oh, it's not correct. But you just relax. I'll go and do it in Excel and come back. So I went to my office, just did some things. And you know, my pastor says that you don't have all the stage all the time. It's just one opportunity. So I said to myself, I've been praying at dawn for 1 year. This is the opportunity. And you know, they used to laugh at me all the time because anytime you come to my desk, I'm learning. I was coming from oil and gas, and now this was power. So I had to learn power. And there was this physics and things in it I didn't understand. So after church, I'll pick up my bag and go to the office. My wife will say, hey, and then it wasn't easy. So when I got into his office, then I sent him the spreadsheet. When they clicked one thing, you know what dynamic charts are? You know, a graph, it just became moving like that. Then the guy got up and said, hey! You know, he's very funny. Went to call his assistant and said, come and see. That was the game changer. So they had this meeting in SA. And I had sent the slides to them. So the meeting went very well. And there were 2 executives from Ghana. And, you know, they commended the charts, the presentations. These things are very good. Then there was one Indian guy, one Indian executive in SA said, but your guy from Ghana did a Yao. Then they said, who? I said, oh, no, Yao. The guy, Yao, really? So the Indian man just kept quiet. Later on, he said, oh, let's go for dinner this evening. So I was in the car. He asked me about, you know, my qualifications, my background, everything. Then he shouted at me, you are good, but you don't talk. And if you don't talk, you will not excel in this organization. I said, we from Ghana. When I was doing my master's, the Indians, the Nigerians were in one team. Sister, they were already reading Financial Times and the rest. When we are talking finance, they were ahead. We are here reading PMP and other things over there. They were ahead. So he shouted, you don't talk. You have to talk. So one thing I learned from that job was visibility. Talk. You do the work, but you can't talk. You can't present. You can't talk about how this work that you've done brings value to the system. Right? So you don't have to be the best, but you have to show up every day. Showing up, being intentional and being engaged. Don't go to a meeting and be the echo of somebody's voice. You know when you're saying that? And so the financial, then you say statements. Or the people said they were, then you say go in. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know there are people like that? You say, so they prepared, then you say their food. As for you, you don't start. You only end. Don't be that person. You have been told you're going for a meeting. You're going to meet this industry person. What you do is that you read. As I sit here, I know I'm speaking with Kokui. Marco reading feel like yeah, I've got to know who I'm sitting with. And if I had all of you, I would have read all about you. And that's my nature. When I'm going for an interview, I would have read all about you. There was a young lady who was a mentee, and she went for an interview with a company. And when she came home, she was very sad. She said, Papa, this one, you know, my name is Papaya, so people call me Papa. So she said, Papa, this one, it didn't go well. I said, oh, sir. So I said, who was on the panel? Then she was able to remember 1 or 2 names. I said, fine. So I went on LinkedIn, looked for all the people. Then I sent one of the people, you know, a text. The guy and I, when he saw my profile, I thought I was going to give him a job. So I said, so I want to have a conversation with you. He said, oh, yes, sir. So I called and said, somebody came for an interview. She's a very good student or a very good employee. If you employ this girl, it's really going to help you. The man was quiet. He said, hey. I said, why? He said, no, normally recommendations are written in letters, but this is a vocal. I've never seen this one before. I said, yes, that's how it is. I'm putting my career on the line for this girl. If you don't employ her, somebody better will employ her. They didn't employ her. 1 week after, she got Nestle or Unilever, one of them, you know, as a management trainee. You have to be intentional. You have to be intentional about how you dress. Don't think that you can just be walking about. You have to actually look out for the best. Watch the women that are excelling, the men that are excelling, how they dress, how they appear. I say sometimes, you know, you don't need a lot of money. You just have to go and buy a pie. You know, a Fiesta Royale, you buy groundnuts and then pineapple juice and you're just sitting there. It's not what for. What's your okay? You know what you're looking at? You're looking at just the dressing of the men. Or the ladies, you are watching. The way you like cleavage, showing cleavage. You watch and you realize that the proper people that came around, none of them had it. Then no, you change your wardrobe. Because it's not taking you anywhere. Otherwise, you become an object. When they tell you, you look sexy, then you're happy. Are you a sex object? Be intentional. If you're going to be a CEO one day, please, let me know the time, okay, so I can quickly. If you're going to be a CEO one day, you have to begin thinking like a CEO. That's why I'm reading the diary of a CEO. Me, I've not been sleeping for the past weeks. I had a conversation with my wife. She went somewhere, came back, had a conversation. I was like, hey, Charlie, this one, looks like we have to change our level. Oh. You have to change your level, oh. Is it? The podcast, yeah. When I'm going to work with the people in my car, I tell them, everybody put your phone here. We are listening to podcasts. John Maxwell. I'm reading John Maxwell. I'm listening to John Maxwell. How many of you know John Maxwell? You read. When you stand and you begin talking or you start talking, people begin to hear you in a different way. Being intentional about your life. So, you stand in the mirror, look at yourself, and you are asking yourself the right questions. Am I going somewhere? Am I going somewhere? You know, there are different levels. There's local, I live at Agbogba. So there's Agbogba champion. There's a Greater Accra champion. There's what's the next one? Ghana champion. There's a West Africa champion. There's African champion. Then we come to third world champion. God didn't create third world, but we created third world. Then there's international champion. There may be global champion. Like the way you are doing things, are you a global champion or, a Agbogba champion? What's your Excel level? Oh, it's basic level. I can add and subtract. Really? And Sigma X, we do Sigma here and there, offset, index. Very interesting things. In fact, in my whole office, there's nobody who does financial modeling than me. Sometimes they will sabotage you. This is what beats the politics. Because when it's even a different party, they can't bypass you. Everything must come to your desk because that expertise is special. You think I was joking? I was using it for church. I was using it for farming. I was using Excel for everything. So all the formulae. You see, sometimes the young ones come and they are like, they are done. Oh, they'll do it later when they come to us. I say, Charlie, once a soldier, always a soldier. Because yesterday I was looking at, is it Corsiva? You know what Corsiva is? Corsiva has got a number of AI tools. Me, I love to use AI. I use AI for everything. If you wear white shirt, what's the right trousers to wear with it? AI will tell you. They say Siri is, they took the P and the P and the T out. So Siri instead of spirits. Yeah. Instead of praying, you now do Siri. So AI is doing everything, and you are there. You don't know how to use AI. I tell my young with my team that you should know how to use AI like more than me. I'm using AI. You are here, you don't know how to use AI. Just say, oh my God, you are lost. We are preparing an army and a team of people and a group of people that are ready for this world. And you have to be intentional. Are you with me? Oh, you are too quiet on me. Oh. You have to be intentional. Sometimes they tell you, you are too serious. You have to be. Which one do you like? You are too serious or you are too, I don't know, what's the opposite? Unserious. Everywhere you are there. Funeral, you are there. Naming ceremony, you are there. Like some of you, who even finish, you are standing by the food. Everywhere you are there. If you want to be in every social gathering, you are not even going to be special. I'm not saying that don't go, attend. But let you be, when you appear, they should be so happy that you came. You know, that one, you're able to run away. 10 minutes to say, but you will sit there from the beginning to the end of the funeral. Like you don't have anything to do. You have to make a decision about yourself. That you're really going to be different. And intentionality brings some difference to your life. It's the icing on the cake. Everyone can appear with a certificate. And everyone can appear with a skill and capability. But if you are intentional, it makes you very different. When you lift up your hand in a meeting and you want to contribute, everybody goes quiet because they want to hear you because you've been intentional about yourself. Even deciding that this morning you will not be sleeping in bed and coming here is intentional. I wish you'd be doing this like every month, doing this, creating an army. Trust me, if you do this 6 months, 1 year, you'll be different. There's no way you'll be the same. If I'm doing this every time, somebody came to my office yesterday, she was talking about cybersecurity. I'm the only one who's got a very big whiteboard in my office. Why? Because I like to brainstorm with my team. Brainstorm, let everyone be sharp so I can relax and go on leave. Some people can go on leave. Because you have to do all the work. Me, I can't do modeling again. My time is up. Me, I can talk from now to tomorrow morning. But let me just open it up for questions. We will give you the missiles. We are finished. Right. So at the end, in fact, I had so many. This is just slide 2, right? I had about 22 slides. We'll do it again one day somewhere. So I don't know if there are any questions. 2 things, questions. If you don't ask questions, it means that what I was saying didn't make sense, or you're able to grab anything out of it.
Good morning.
Morning,
so
sir.
you asked about, you talk about PIE. So my question is, how do you finance it in case you don't have any available resource?
Thank you. So when we had our Monday meeting, there was one lady in the meeting who was so impressed. We were actually doing the comparison between energy and capacity. Later I went to check on the internet if there was like a theory like that. I realized, sister, I have to follow and do some doctorate somewhere. This is a very interesting thing to study. We had so many lessons out of it. So she went searching and she couldn't find anything like that. So she called me and said, AI, no, ne boy is saying. So she came back the next morning and said, it's $20. $20. Please, somebody multiply for me. 20 times what? 15.5 or 20 times 16 is what? 30. Which is like 300 CDs. 300 CDs. 300 CDs. Show me your bag. Show me your bag. Show me your watch. Show me your hair. Me, I didn't know. I hear hair, no. It be a 5,000, 10,000, 15,000. They do the 10,000 better TV now in AI. My brother. Hello. The one who asked the question. Normal chat GPT is $20. There's an aspect of chat GPT which is deeper research. When you click on it, it takes time. I was supposed to teach on baptism somewhere, so I did a deep research. I wanted to know what Tertullian and all the great teachers of the Bible said about baptism. It took like 1 hour to give me a full dossier on baptism. And that one is limited. So up to, I think I've got up to April 5th or something, or, just to get a few deep researches. So $20. If you are here and you boarded a car, you'll be making phone calls from your phone. $20 there. Charlie, you can do it. Or TikTok. What do you do? What do you use? Data, right? $20. Now, the first picture that I had over there was drawn by AI. I just said, give me a black man sitting, in a spotlight. He said, shortly, I'll get it done for you. And do it for me. So when you see the picture, I was like, see, I'm showing up. But AI do it for me. There's nothing that you're doing now that AI can't do for you. As a matter of fact, in Germany, AI is preaching to people. So now you need spirit. Because any message that you're preaching, any AI can stand there and actually preach. Yeah. So have I answered your question? That's ChatGPT. So by today, I would have registered. I think Coursera was also $19. That's like $20. So Coursera gives you a group of AI tools that you can actually learn. And it's like a 1-month learning. So I said I wanted to increase my wealth. I need money. Some of you don't need money. The way you are behaving, you don't need money. AI power. In fact, this week, let me finish with this one. Okay, now I'll let you answer. This was it last week. I think on Monday, yes, we met a team. And the team introduced an IT, in fact, a technology to us. You know how these glasses, what do you call them? The 3D glasses. This one is another level. Virtual reality. Oh, my dear. It was such an experience. They took a particular plant. When I say plant, like, engineering plant of one of the organizations in Ghana. So I put it on, and I could pick the pipelines, break the pipelines, and talk about it. So when they finished, I say, can you actually do the tabernacle of Moses? So we can walk to the tabernacle of Moses with the virtual reality. Or can we have an immersive center where children come and have conversations with Jonah, Enoch, and tell them, Enoch, what happened? You vanished. So we are thinking about buying that technology because we have a research and technology center, and one of the rooms is just for an immersive experience, right? You have to pay for it. Sit in that meeting. I mean, I'm not seeing that one. I thought 3D was for games. I like to play games. I play games. Don't use the games with those in church. When they say 3, please, yes, you're looking at me. All right? So please, $20 that you can afford. Next year, I'll ask you, did you buy it? So when you go and register, do some things with it. All right. I think there's another question. Yes. As you don't, excuse me with the question. Hey, you have actually written questions over.
Thank you very much. What I wanted to read was, I wrote after what you said, Tansy, you need to make a decision about yourself that you are really going to be different. This is my question. What do you do if you work in an environment with people who, because of the nature of the job, not to put down anyone, but it's like you are, ahead. You try to bring them to your level to understand, because from what you said, you behave and act like people that you've listened to, you talk to, and then you interact with on a daily basis. What do? Do you choose yourself by leaving? Or you know that you can make an impact in that space, but the people are not coming around to help you, and you can't do it on your own. You need a team. You need people to work with. So what do you do? How do you impact them, to push the work forward? Or at this time, do you choose yourself by? I don't know if you understand the question I'm trying to ask.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We've all been in those places before. That's why you can leave one job and go to another job. Now, there's always a thin line where you think you want to be the Superman, change the people. But let me tell you, there are some environments that are dead environments. There are some friends that won't take you anywhere. There are some friends who don't have purposeful conversations or growth conversations. You will try, do your best, stand out. You know, when you always stand out, they know you are standing out. They know you are different, right? They'll try to learn from you. Now, the challenge is that you could also become like them if you are not able to keep up that consistent growth. So if you realize that you are now being affected by them because sometimes they are majority, you'd have to leave. Now, I learned something, I think I was reading the diary of the CEO, that not all paying jobs are good jobs. Some jobs are low paying jobs, not because of the money, but because there's no growth in them. So if you realize that you are not growing, listen, if you didn't even hear anything today, I want you to keep this. You have to be hungry for growth. You should not look anyhow like how you looked like from the beginning of the year. At the end of 2025, you shouldn't look like 2024. You shouldn't sound like 2024. Somebody should meet you and you must be different. So, Tansy, you can scan the environment, see how they are responding to you. You can do it once, twice, or 1 year, 2 years. When you realize that it's overwhelming, you leave. At a point, I left one job and went to my previous job because I thought, I was the champion at doing everything. So there wasn't any inspiration. Nobody was calling me, like inspiring me, showing me different things or directing me. So I was directing everybody. Sometimes you have to move out of that space. Because no matter how wonderful you are or high you are, there always has to be somebody ahead of you you are learning from. So if there's nobody you are learning from and you are the whole learning from yourself and learning from the people, you drop. I wish I could show the growth matrix. You go the bell curve. You go like this, you rise, and there's always a decline. Now, when you are declining, you don't have to wait to decline. You have to do something different to sustain the plateau. So you always be relevant and consistent. So in an environment like that, you have to make a decision by looking at the people around and if there's opportunity for growth. If there's opportunity for growth, you can stay there and still be doing impact. But if there's no opportunity for growth, you are killing yourself. Eventually, you will sink and become like them. Yes. My answers are long, eh? I'm sorry. Final one, yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm very much inspired, sir.
Thank God.
So the question is, how do being intentional envision the future of financial leadership to bring about difference in growth to an individual?
The question is complex, but I'll answer it. You see, we like to put together so many interesting, like financial. When we hear financial, it's like some wonderful big thing. Charlie, financial is going to the market, having money in your pocket, and buying from the market. Tomatoes, onions, whatever. Usika and now coffee. Usika so then you bring change. That is financial. Financial is just about your outflows and your inflows. What's coming in, what's going out, and the value of your product. That's finance. Yesterday I read that if you're not able to interpret this to children, then you don't understand the concept. That's finance. It's very simple. Right? What is financial leadership? Financial leadership is just being consistent in your finances or understanding of finance to a point that people now defer to you for financial literacy or understanding. So financial leadership, and I said one thing, if you want to do anything financial right now, as I said, don't even do it. I won't even advise you to do ACCAC or SEMA. I'll let you do CFA. Because CFA in America, they are chasing you. Canada is chasing you. Australia is chasing you. South Africa is chasing you. Once you get that certificate, every bank is looking for you. It's a rare degree. I tried it. I couldn't finish because when I was doing my master's, I was thinking about my wife. 9 months after I got married, I couldn't concentrate in class. So I couldn't do it. But I tell everyone around me that you've got to do CFA. Now, when you do CFA, you start leading by certificate. But remember, leadership is not positional. So very soon, there are going to be many CFAs around you. So what's going to differentiate you is your understanding and even continuous development and learning in the area of finance. As long as you learn new things about finance, now even ACC is talking about AI and finance. You have to be ahead. Learn about AI and finance. When there's a meeting and you are talking, you understand AI and finance. That is financial leadership. Have I answered your question? Oh, it's the last one. Please, did I answer your question? You are looking at me, Stanley. Have I done something wrong? Like, yes. Those who want to discuss finance or anything, afterwards we'll have a conversation. We're going to be here for a while. Yes, please.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. When you were submitting your speech, you mentioned the PI concept, that's present, being present, being intentional, and being engaged. But the question I have is this. Let's say I'm somebody who is very shy, I'm very timid, I do not know how to talk, but I'm skilled and I don't know how to socialize with people. And I think you mentioned that you were very quiet and all, and because
that's
of that,
what he said.
Yeah.
I'm not collaborating.
So how can somebody like me survive in the corporate environment or even in the church environment?
I like that. So yesterday, I have a friend in Canada, so we have different time zones. Anytime I'm going to present, I do my revision with her. So that's the question she asked. What about if the person is a phlegmatic, a choleric, a sanguine, or what's the other one? Melancholic, right? You have to learn these things. You know about yourself. I know my team. When I look at you, you're melancholic. So when you know what phlegmatic is? Phlegmatic is like, I don't want to use the word, but we are going to the market so that we will get things done. There's a lady in my office, when you tell her something, they should be doing some faces. Before she answers, yes. So yesterday, I said, when we got to the office, I said, Watima, you have to do a temperament test. I'm telling you are phlegmatic. I said, I'm not anything, Mr. Mpari. After she did it, it came out clear. Said, it's true, I'm phlegmatic. My wife is melancholic and sanguine. Melancholic, they like dressing and melancholic. I can see my melancholic creativity. And she's sanguine. You see the house, let's go and buy it. As colleague has said, scan away. So when the two of you are sanguines in the house, you spend. Now listen, this is how it works in the workplace. So your temperament, even though you are phlegmatic, one advantage of phlegmatics is that they are meticulous. They will make good accountants. So you are so phlegmatic that your phlegmatic nature has impacted your work because you do your work so well, you are diligent and meticulous. There's no invoice that passes by you without you understanding the invoice and actually looking through the invoice to make sure that there's no financial loss. You are a sanguine. Sanguine are marketing people. A sanguine who is a preacher can stir up the whole place or can sell even water for you at the price of wine. That's a sanguine. Right? So when you are sanguine and you realize your temperament, you leverage your temperament to do your work. Maybe everybody's down, and then when you get there, hey, everybody, it's party time. Sometimes I'm a choleric and a sanguine, so I have a small Bose speaker. Fridays, I put on my music, and I'm walking in the office. Hey. When I leave the office one day, they'll be sending me text, oh, Mr. Ampari, are you okay? You didn't come to the office. Some of you don't know. When I'm in church, I'm very quiet. But in my office, I'm the party person. But when you misbehave, then I switch to the other side. Right? So you can see me, I'm visible in a meeting when it's sanguine and choleric. Somebody who is melancholic is very creative. Wendy is melancholic, the lady I was talking about doing presentations. She said, Mr. Parry, I wanted to be an architect. I never ended up being an architect. And I said, you've not lost it. He said, how come? I said, you use your architectural desire and passion to set up presentations. She does it better than anybody in the office. So you are never limited by your temperament. Your temperament should be an advantage to you. So you might not need, when I say visibility or intention, it's not about every day you want to be in somebody's face. No, you can be in your corner and people will come to your corner because of the way you do your things so well. Have I been able to answer your question? Thank you. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Let's do it better for him. Wow. Wow. Showing up. This has been very, very thought-provoking. I mean, half the time I was seated quietly and he really, really provoked me. I know Mr. Ampari, I know his wife, and I have the opportunity to engage her almost every 2 weeks or once every week. And they are such a power-seasoned couple. And if he's saying they must level up, then it means some of us, we need to. Yes, because anytime I speak to her, she literally provokes me. Like, Kale, you should do this. Kale, look at it in this direction. Kale, this, And they are really a blessing. And I believe we've all been blessed by his presentation. Please give it up for him one more time. And he'll be available to, chat more with you. If you have any further questions, he'll definitely be willing to share. All right, I believe that before we even go to the next speaker, Hangout with Roselyn. Hangout with Roselyn. This, my left-hand side, I don't hear anything from you. Hey, Hangout with Roselyn. Please, what is their temperament? Okay, Hangout with Roselyn. And then Hangout with Roselyn. Great, we show up to show. And show means we share, we help, we overcome, and we win. So by the end of our time spent here, we are all going to be winners. Hallelujah, somebody. All right, put your hands together for yourselves. Okay. So I believe that stars, real stars, are those who illuminate the world when everywhere is dark. We see celebrities, we see people we call stars, we love them, we praise them. But I believe that there are stars that surpass stars. And whenever there's darkness, they stand out, they illuminate everywhere. Today we have a star in our midst. Yes, we have a star in our midst. She doesn't only illuminate the world with her face, with her beauty, with her intelligence, with her knowledge, but she does so very uniquely with her voice. Yes. You can clap. Clapping is free. Yeah, thank you. She does so with her voice. She's a pioneering media personality, not only in Ghana, but she's done so much, made footprint all over the world. She's been on radio, she's been on television, she's known on social media, she's impacting the world with her voice. She's the chief vocal architect of the band Kokui. She recently worked with City FM, City radio station. I used to hear her on the morning show, and it was such a delight listening to her. And, she also has a great voice. And when you go to certain events and you see her sing, it's so soothing to hear her sing. Yes, I don't know if she'll give us one or two today. Yeah. Okay, by special request. And she's here to share with us so much to inspire us. She's also an event and conference facilitator. And so you see her on several huge stages, and she's doing so great. She's also an ideation consultant. And if you look at her work, she's done stuff with GIZ, which Chango, Ghana, is it Chango? That's the pronunciation, Chango, and so much more. She's an amazing and excellent media personality. Without much ado, please let's receive the presence of Kokwi Salome. Oh, let's do it better for her. Hi, Kokwi.
Thank you. Oh, please sit. Please have a seat. Good morning, everyone. How are we feeling? Are we okay? Are we all right? We're good. Because we're hanging out with Roselyn, right? And I know you've been anticipating this for quite some time. So we're going to have a good time. Let's say another big thank you to Mr. Yampari for his presentation, which I'm sure we all learned a lot from. And there were so many nuggets in there. And I was taking notes as well, because it's continuous learning, right? That's what we do. I know I have some slides. Are they ready? Okay. We're talking about growth. We'll talk quite a bit about growth in this presentation, but also about creativity. We'll take some questions afterwards as well. But I think we'll wait till that section before we talk a bit about motherhood and womanhood and all of those things, right? Just so we stay on the growth path, because there's so many things we can talk about. And even though I don't like to talk a lot, I do talk for a living sometimes, and I can talk for a living. So we'll try to narrow down the focus and see what we can get out of this today. Is that okay? All right, great. So we can start. First slide. All right, so we'll talk about unlocking your potential and how you can develop that growth mindset to really pursue a path of success, okay? So let's tune our minds to this, how we should grow and how we can grow. So, next slide. All right, you can see a piece of sheet music there in the background, and yes, it is intentional. We learned you need to be intentional. For me, it's a reminder of what I do. So, music is my gift. Media is my job. Motherhood is my blessing. In a nutshell, that's what I'll focus on today. I do a lot of things. I can't get into all of them, but these three things are extremely significant in my life for various reasons, okay? So that's just in a nutshell. If you were to ask me 10 seconds about me, and everyone should have that 10 seconds. Somebody wants to know something about you. What can you tell them about yourself in 10 seconds? We're in an age right now where we don't have a lot of time for things, and especially in this social media age where people don't have a lot of, let's say, an attention span, right? So what can you tell someone? 10 seconds. Describe yourself. What's your elevator pitch? If you were to meet someone and you're riding an elevator and there's only one floor between where you are and where you're going, what could you tell that person about yourself that they would remember? Okay? Something memorable. So think about it as we're listening. Write it down. If you don't have it already, get your 10-second intro ready for life. And it can change depending on where you are in life. It doesn't have to stay the same. That's the beauty of growth and change, okay? All right. Now, no, let's go back. Let's go back, please. Please. All right, so why is this important? Why are we here today? Why are we talking about growth? Well, how can we not talk about growth? You're a human being. You started off, maybe I should say, as a fetus, or a sperm and an egg, even before that. Then you changed. You grew into something else. You came out of the womb. You grew. Yes, you were a baby, suckling at the breast. You grew. You started kindergarten. You grew. You finished primary school. You grew to secondary. You grew to tertiary. Life itself is a path of growth. So how can we not keep discussing the very thing that is innate in us, the very thing that makes us human beings? It is growth. So it's something we can never do without, and we can never stop talking about, and we can never stop pursuing intentionally. That's growth, okay? Are we together? All right, so hopefully when we're done talking today, you'll have a few practical tips, and hopefully you've gotten some already, and things that you can engage in to help you unlock that growth potential. Next slide. A simple question, and anyone can volunteer to answer this now. What is your superpower? You might not be a Marvel comic, and that's okay. You might not be DC, Superman, or Batman. You don't have to be. But everybody has something that makes them unique. And that's why I'm asking, what is your USP? Does everybody understand what a USP is? What's a USP? Exactly. What is your unique selling point? Yes, you. What's your name? Achira. Yes.
What will it be? Honestly, I'm not sure yet.
And I appreciate your honesty. But after today, you'll be sure. That's the whole point. Everybody should have a USP. What is it that makes you stand out from the next person? What is it that makes you special? What is it that makes you unique? And please, don't think too far. Don't think you have to be something so, in your mind, so extraordinary or supernatural, or you have to be Elon Musk building Teslas. That's another thing for another day. Or you have to be the wonderful Roselyn, who is a fantastic climate change expert. That's her story. That's her path. What's your story? What's your path? What's your superpower? Ask yourself that question. Answer that question. Keep the answer with you everywhere you go and let your superpower shine. Please, don't hide it. Don't cower. Don't shrink yourself. You're a child of God. How can you not be super? Identify your superpower. Display it with pride, like a badge of honor. That's your next assignment. So far we've got what? Your 10-second intro. Does everybody have that? Okay, your superpower. But is there someone here who knows what their superpower is? And let me explain a bit. Your talent, your gift, what is that thing about you that you feel is something special? It's God-given. It may be even something that's nurtured, but something just interesting about you that you feel is something special for you. It doesn't mean that it's not something someone else has or does, but for you, it makes you special. Because the thing about growth is that you have to identify what that thing is and be comfortable in it and live in it and thrive on that. You'll come to realize, if you haven't already, that whatever your gift and your passion and your inner light is the thing more often than not that will carry you through life. You may try to avoid it, you may try to run away from it, you may not even recognize it until later in life, but ultimately that's the thing that you're going to ride on. So what is your superpower? What is your unique selling point? If you don't know that already, please, today is the day you start to think about it. And if you want some help on that, we can talk about that later because we have limited time, okay? So think about your unique skill or talent or gift and how to identify that, and always hold on to it and let it shine, your superpower. You know Iron Man. How many of us love comics and Marvel and everybody knows Iron Man, or not everybody knows Iron Man? I'm going too far here. The light in the center of his chest, right, in his armor. And when he has his chest out a certain way. Superman as well, he's got the S on the chest. Superman, when he's changing from Clark Kent, what does he do? He's got that jacket on, and he opens it, and his chest is out. And you see, it's pride. He wears his superpower on his chest. It's clear for everyone to see. Wear your superpower on your chest. Let everybody see this is you. Don't be a humble graduate. Where's the humble graduate? Please take the humble away. Take the humble away. I know we are socialized and conscientized into feeling that we're Ghanaian children. You have to be humble. When did we discover that word humble? Where did it come from? And we drum it from where? From Jesus. Really? I'll leave that to you, sir. I'll leave that to you. We won't go there today. Humility, right? If you pervert it, it becomes what we do in this society, and we stifle people. And that is why we have a problem with creativity and creative thought. Do not use the word humble to detract from your superpower. Don't do that. Don't do that. Do you see foreigners doing that? No. You meet them and they will tell you all about themselves confidently. Do the same. Don't be the humble Ghanaian. Oh, she's so humble. It's not a compliment. It's not a compliment. It's an insult. Next slide. It's not a compliment. Okay. Growth mindset. We're talking about growth. We're switching our mindsets, right? So what is a growth mindset? Yes, I went to the white people, somebody at Harvard Business School. It doesn't mean they're the best definition. It's just one definition, okay? So this is where you know you have an ability. Okay, there was a lady here, the one who said yes, in the blue shirt. Yes, please stand up. Tell me again exactly what you said when you asked the question about you can't speak in the office or something like that. What was it you said? Yeah, go ahead. Yes.
Timid. And easily, yeah.
Another word I don't like. Go ahead. Yes.
So how would I be able to then show up, as in use the PI principle? That's the being present, being intentional, and engaging. Yeah.
Thank you. So I want to stick. What's your name again?
I'm Rosemary, please.
Rosemary. Okay. So I want to stick with the first thing you said. I am a shy person. And then what did you say after that?
Timid.
And I am timid. Okay. Can we have the slide back, please? I am a shy person. I am timid. That's your definition of yourself. Okay. So someone with a growth mindset views intelligence, abilities, and talents as learnable and capable of improvement through effort. So to sum that up or to paraphrase, somebody with a growth mindset believes that, okay, no matter what attributes you may have, you can work towards something, or you can change it, or you can transform it through effort, through working on it, through working towards it, through intentionally, again, dealing with that thing, right? Now, the fixed versus growth mindset. Look at the two examples very carefully. A fixed mindset says, I'm just not good at this. You've told yourself. You've programmed it. I am shy. I'm timid. Fixed. The growth mindset says, I can improve if I practice and learn. Now, I'll give you this. Because you want to improve, you asked him the question, right? But you've programmed it here already, so that before you even start anything, I'm shy, I'm timid, I can't do this. It's there. It's such a hill to climb already. But the growth mindset in you is going to say, you know what, despite the fact that sometimes when I stand up to talk in front of people, I feel a bit nervous. So what? I may think they're laughing at me. I don't care. I think today, I'm going to go to the office, and the first time they ask if someone has a question, I'm going to be the one to volunteer to speak. Because I want to get past that barrier that I've put in my mind, that nobody put there but me, that I've told myself I'm too shy, I'm too timid to do this. It's about being intentional, about making the effort to make the change. So, you see, words are very powerful. We agree. What you tell yourself is what you believe, especially when you tell yourself that for several years. And sometimes there are outsiders who will emphasize that point, but normally they'll be able to do it if you believe it yourself. But if you are confident about what you believe about yourself, nobody can change that, no matter what they say, right? So don't allow anyone to reinforce the negativity that you have planted in yourself. And in fact, work on eliminating it yourself. Okay, so again, fixed mindset, I'm shy, I can't do it, I'm timid. Growth mindset, no, I can try, I can do, and then eventually take away the try, do. Don't try, do. Because guess what, breaking barriers is action. It doesn't happen by osmosis, and sometimes it doesn't happen overnight. As I stand here before you, let me tell you, I am the shyest person in the world. I am the shyest person. You can ask my mom. When I was a child, you could not get me to even look at someone. It would be so difficult for me, right? It took years. And actually, music helped me with that, okay? So it may take just sometimes moving outside of your comfort zone to do something that makes you uncomfortable. Disrupt your system. Disruption is good. It's another word that can be, depending on how you use it, negative or positive, but positive disruption is shaking yourself out of that comfort zone of timidity and shyness and saying, you know what? Sorry, F it. I'm just going to do it. And come what may. And the funny thing is that nothing will come. You will do it and finish it. Oh, is that all? Is that what I was so afraid of? Many times the fear you've planted in yourself is no fear at all. It's something you've constructed. It's a social construct. Constructivists will tell you fear is a social construct. Okay? All right. Next slide. There was a quote there I was going to read, right? But okay, let's skip. Thinking creatively in your career. Okay, let's just deal with this very quickly. I'll deal with the middle points. You see that nice kind of abstract screen? So let's give a bit of a case study, right, on two companies. One was called Blockbuster. Some of you will not know about this because you're just too young, right? But there was a company called Blockbuster that existed years ago. Okay, has anybody heard of Blockbuster? Let me ask you that. Okay, what do you know about Blockbuster? Somebody who raised their hand. What do you know about Blockbuster? Tell me. Where are all the hands that were up? Don't be shy. Don't be timid, please. Yes, Blockbuster. What do you know? Okay, there's a microphone there. What do you know about Blockbuster?
Blockbuster was like a movie hub. They showed, I think, top movies. Yeah, I remember something like that.
Okay, anybody else?
So Blockbuster also sells movies. So they had like shops across America and they were selling like...
Very nice. Okay, thank you. He's right. Okay, so Blockbuster was the kind of place... Oh, my earring has fallen. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Carly. Thank you very much. So Blockbuster, it happens all the time, and I'm an earring fanatic, so I lose earrings all the time. All the time. It's so annoying. And we'll exactly be buying new ones. Blockbuster was the kind of place you walk in, there's a whole room full of, well, first VHS tapes, then DVDs. So you go in, you have a membership card. Let's say you want to watch the latest movie. Once it's in the movie theater for a few weeks, they release it. They'll say, okay, now available on video at Blockbuster. So you go to Blockbuster and you say, okay, I want to watch, I don't know, Coming to America. You go, they have them categorized on all the shelves. You can look through, you pick the movies you want to rent. You go, you pay the rental fee, you take it home, you watch it. When you finish, you take it back to Blockbuster. If you take it back late, because they give you a limited time to watch it and bring it back, you pay a late fee. If you bring it back within the period, you are fine. You can rent again and again. Wonderful business. There was only Blockbuster, right? Then here comes some young people who say, you know something? We know that, excuse me, is anyone American here? No. We know that Americans are lazy. And oftentimes they don't want to leave their house. I'm just kidding about the first part. But let's sell convenience. So you can sit at home, you can order from this company, and we'll call it Netflix. So what we'll do is, instead of you having to go to Blockbuster and go through all of that, just in the mail, you say, okay, I want to watch 5 movies, and they will give you special deals. They'll say, okay, if you can rent 1, you'll pay $10. But if you rent 5, you pay $15. So it's like, oh, I can rent 5 movies. It costs less than Blockbuster. People started using this Netflix system. So you get the videos in the mail. So you be at home, you just order the movie, they'll send it, you watch, you put it back in an envelope, send it back, great business. So one day, Netflix said, you know something? Let's go and talk to the Blockbuster people, because Blockbuster was it. They were the big boys in town. Netflix was a small fry, okay? They said, let's go and talk to Blockbuster and see if Blockbuster wants to invest in us, because we need the investment. We're not sure how we're going to keep this going, and they're the big boys. They literally had shops all over America. They went to Blockbuster, and Blockbuster said, really? Why on earth would we take some of our hard-earned dollars and invest in your little startup that doesn't even have a fraction of our market? I mean, what kind of business person would even think that this is a thing that's going to sustain? We've been in business for years. We've got presence all over the country, and there's no way your little company is going to do anything significant in this business. We're not interested. Netflix said, okay, we're broke, but we'll keep going. And they kept going. And they kept going. And I don't know if somebody at Netflix was prescient or was a soothsayer or had, some kind of foresight that nobody knew. But somehow they anticipated this internet age was going to explode. And guess what happened over the years? Blockbuster started closing stores. Netflix started increasing their market share. Blockbuster ended up filing for bankruptcy. Now you cannot go anywhere without hearing or seeing Netflix. All of us use some kind of internet streaming service, and they were the pioneers of that. Now, imagine if somebody had said, Blockbuster's not interested in us. It's too expensive to keep this going. We just cannot do this. Let's fold it up. Let's go. Well, maybe they would have folded up, but maybe somebody else would have taken the idea and run with it. It's possible. Then your dream becomes someone else's dream because you didn't have the faith to think creatively beyond that. Now, the person at Blockbuster who let that deal go, can you imagine what that guy must be thinking today when he sees what Netflix is and the fact that Blockbuster is no more? Ladies and gentlemen, never, never be afraid to believe in your own dream. And the thing is, even if somebody says no, and you truly believe that what you're doing is what you're supposed to be doing, you might even fail, but fail because you tried, not because you didn't. Fail because you tried, not because you didn't. Never let anybody convince you that the dream that you believe has been planted is not supposed to be pursued because they do not believe in it. Those external forces there, sometimes they can be demons. Okay, next slide. Next slide. All right, so, yes, Carly. Okay, thank you. All right, so let's talk very quickly about confidence and imposter syndrome. Hello? Confidence, imposter syndrome. What's imposter syndrome? Does everybody understand what imposter syndrome is? Do we? And if we don't, listen, another thing, just one quick tip. If you don't know, say, I don't know. It doesn't take anything away from you. It will not kill you, won't die. You don't know, I don't know. Because that's how we learn, that's how we grow. Who understands imposter syndrome? Who doesn't understand imposter syndrome? Thank you, no problem. Okay, so let's just explain it. In very simple terms, imposter syndrome is when you are even capable of doing something, but you yourself don't believe that you are the one who's capable of doing it. You feel like there's an imposter somewhere. You know what an imposter is? Somebody who's intruding, who's not supposed to be there. So you yourself have a warped view of your capabilities. And even when good things are coming your way, you can't even believe it because in your mind, how can this be happening to me? How do I deserve this? Am I really meriting such favor? That's imposter syndrome. Get rid of the imposter. Okay, so a few things you can do just to support yourself, okay? When you're feeling a bit unsure of your capabilities and your wins, any small win, celebrate it. Encourage yourself. Do not be afraid to celebrate yourself. I think oftentimes we wait for others to celebrate us. Why? Why? What if nobody ever celebrates you? Do you just go through life without being celebrated? No. Celebrate yourself. Oh, today I said I was going to exercise. I walked 5 steps. Celebrate. Tomorrow, walk 10. The next day, walk 15. Celebrate the small wins. I said I was giving up chocolate for Lent. Okay. That's the story of my life. I wasn't able to make it the whole week, but I made it 5 days. Celebrate. Yes, put an extra offering in the basket on Sunday. You did. There's nothing wrong with celebrating yourself, and do not allow anyone to make you feel bad for celebrating yourself. Retail therapy is my way of celebrating myself. Yeah. Do something nice for yourself once in a while. Listen, you have to. You have got to love yourself and show people why they should appreciate and love you the way you love yourself. That way nobody can take advantage of your heart. Okay. Embrace lifelong learning. This is so key. So you do nursery, kindergarten, primary, JHS, SHS, blah, blah, blah. You're ticking the boxes on the occasional ladder and you think it's it. School is not the only form of education. Let's get that clear first and foremost. Formalized education exists, it's nice, it's fine, that's great. There's so much more to life than sitting in a classroom. And especially in this social media age, there are so many more opportunities for you to learn a lot of things, sitting in the comfort of your room. Don't take it for granted. And I think that's one of the biggest blessings this generation has. You literally have education at your fingertips. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to go anywhere. Back in the day when people used to queue at a place called USCIS to try and get into schools in America. Why? America doesn't even want us there anymore. So think about it. What are you going to do? And think like a global citizen, please. Like I said, we can talk about so many things. I have to try and stay on track. But unlock the local small mindset and embrace a bigger global mindset in everything you do, the way you approach life. The world is no longer just you and your country and your town. It has expanded thanks in part to the internet and the digital age. So please, you're a global citizen, think as such, and utilize the resources that you have at your disposal. And the wonderful thing is many of them are free or very low cost. So please, continue to learn, continue to educate yourself, expand your horizons, and you continue to grow. As I stand here, I'm in another educational thing that I won't talk about today, but it's there, because you have to keep expanding, okay? Seek mentorship and role models. Okay, another assignment for today. If you don't already have a mentor, maybe you already have one, find another one that you can approach. But you are not allowed to approach me or Roselyn or Yao. None of us here. And I'm only saying that because this is convenient. Because we're all here today, you'll quickly say, oh, can you be my mentor? Maybe we could. But challenge yourself to approach someone you've been admiring for a while. Yes, some of you have said you've been admiring him. It's okay. He's here today. No, you can't approach him. I'm sorry. As a mentor, you can talk to him. But I'm challenging you to go out there and identify that person you've been trying to get in touch with and send them a message. Walk up to them. You'll be amazed at some of the people you're so intimidated by. Once you make that effort to approach and approach confidently, you realize that we're all just human beings at the end of the day. And we're more than ready to talk to you. And we're very open. So please, if, again, you've been putting that off, break the barrier. Seek mentorship. Seek out your role models. Communicate with them. But please, be decorous about it as well, okay? Please. And respect people's time and space, okay? All right, self-doubt is normal, but it shouldn't define you. That's just something I wanted to add. And here's another quote by Susie Kasim. She says, doubt, right, kills more dreams than failure ever will. As I was saying earlier, it's better you try and fail than not try at all because you doubt yourself. Try it. Because guess what? You just might succeed. Next slide. Okay, so we talked about mentorship already. Your network. I know it's a very cliche kind of phrase, but your network really is your net worth. And in saying that, I'm also going to add this part. Take a look at the people who are closest to you. Not physically now, but in your life. If you could count 5 people who are the closest to you, whether it's at work, whether it's in a social setting, your classmates, your best friends, look at those 5 people, okay? And remember this, whoever those 5 people are who are closest to you, you are the average of those 5. So maybe I should say the 6 in total. So 5 around you and you are 6. Out of those 6, whatever attributes all of you have, count yourself as the average and ask yourself, is it a good average? So maybe get your metrics. Okay, so when we talk about faith or someone who inspires me, does my circle encourage, okay, yes or no? If it's no, advise yourself. If it's yes, okay. All right, does my circle advise me to be financially prudent? Or are we always going out, spending our money and getting broke? Okay, yes or no? Does my circle encourage me to be healthy, holistically? Or are they the kind of people that anything goes, or we have this lifestyle? Do an evaluation of your closest relationships and see where you fit. See if they are a good influence on you. See if you're a good influence on them, because it's reciprocal, right? You give, you take. And also see if by evaluating that circle, you need to keep that circle or change it. It's up to you to do that evaluation for yourself. Is my circle making me the average I want to be? Or is my circle making me decline in my power? Evaluate it all. This is a very practical thing to do, and be honest with yourself. If you know you've had that friend for years, but you're always the person maybe trying to bail them out of trouble, or the person is always influencing you to get into all kinds of... Is that person really a friend? Is that person really enhancing your life? Or are you the crutch for that person to lean on to just get by in life? And is that person dragging you down and holding you back? Do an honest assessment of that. Sometimes it's even family members. Sometimes, because we don't get to choose our blood family, right? But we do get to choose our friends, our acquaintances, and have those categories. Not everybody's a friend. Some are acquaintances, some are classmates, some are work colleagues, some are church members. Segment your life. You don't have to call everybody a friend, because everybody's not your friend. And life teaches us that, right? So again, do the calculation, look at your circle, and see whether or not you are actually growing based on who you're surrounded by. Okay? All right. I did say find someone you've never met and exchange one career tip, but we don't have time for that today, so do it later. Okay. Next slide. Okay. So, lessons from media and music. I mean, this one, if I get into it, we won't finish now. But what I will say is that I sometimes call myself the professional hustler. A hustler in a good sense because I'm always out there looking for work. You will know that when you're a self-employed person or, an entrepreneur or someone who especially provides a service, it's all about the next gig, the next job, the next contract. So you constantly have to be out there meeting people, sending out your credentials, attending events and functions just to network. So you've got to be proactive about your career and your goals and what you want to attain and what you want to achieve, okay? So tell yourself today, you've already made a good step by being here. Congratulations, clap for yourselves. But as much as possible, put yourself in spaces where you are likely to encounter people who will help you in that journey to growth, okay? All right, can we have the slide back? Now, encouraging innovation and taking risks. I put A1 Bread and Coco King there for two good reasons. These days, we don't see that much of Coco King, but again, I'm going to emphasize, he tried. He tried. He went out there. There was a point in time, no matter where you were driving in this Accra, you will see a Coco King stand, you will see them in traffic, you could get your cocoa, your oats, your whatever, and it was a fantastic solution, especially for those of us who had to go to work so early in the morning. And it was nice and hygienic, and the presentation, he tried. And he set, I think, the ball rolling for other people to also try things and to tap into that entrepreneurial spirit. So we can never negate those experiences. Whether you say today you don't see Coco King, it existed at a time. And it had a positive influence on society, and it spurred on other entrepreneurs. So it is something to be celebrated. So again, a reminder that whether you start something and it doesn't work or not, you tried. It is better to try and fail than to not try at all. And there's something called failing forward. And the failing forward term is very important because it means that even if it doesn't work out, you learn from that experience and you use it to propel you to another level. So please, learn to try, and even if you fail, fail forward. Learn from the experience and grow with it, okay? And of course, A1 Bread, because we know why. This is someone who is highly educated, from what I understand, and decided, you know what? This is something I can do to make a living, and why not? Which brings me to the next point. Don't limit yourself by what's on paper that you went to school to study. I think too many of us get caught up on, I studied HR, I have to do HR. Hello? Hello. Oh, you said you work in HR. But what did you study? I'm curious.
Yeah, so I did
French and Information Studies. She's a fashion designer. And thank you for saying that. If you have time, learn another language. Learn another language. My French used to be much better, and I'm rehashing that because my French was really, really good. Learn another language. Like I said before, we are in a global age. That can take you everywhere. Just the fact that you can speak another language, okay? But again, don't confine yourself. You studied marketing, so what? So what does that paper mean? Do you know what education is supposed to do for you? It's supposed to open your mind. It's supposed to open your mind, broaden your horizon, expand your worldview. That is the purpose of education. Whatever subject you sat in a classroom to study, that some of you will go and pay people to write your papers for you, it doesn't mean anything if you don't have practical knowledge that you can apply in today's world that will sustain you. So please, expand your horizons, okay? Skills is the last one because that is what will feed you. Skills is what will feed you. Whether it's a technical skill, and when I say technical skill, okay, I don't necessarily mean carpentry, etc. Yes, those are skills. But something that is practically utilized that no matter where you are, you don't need to go and invest in tons of equipment. You don't need, it could even be just a service you provide without touching anything at all. Like me, I sing. Sometimes I don't even need a pianist, but technically, fine. But a skill that wherever you are in the world, you can utilize it to sustain yourself. This is the era of skills, though. Gone are the days where people used to look down on people in technical and vocational institutions. Those are the people who are never unemployed. Ever. They can always find work to do. No matter what the economy is, you will always, ladies, we will always need a hairdresser. You always need somebody who makes clothes, somebody who makes shoes, somebody who Yes, construction is big, so you've got our artisans as well. But if you have a practical skill, you'll never go hungry. And please, let's teach our children the same. Okay, next slide. The work-life balance. Okay, so again, this is gonna be a big conversation, but it's important, especially for creatives like us, because we end up finding ourselves in so many different spaces and doing so many things, right, to make a living. And we look around us today, we've got people doing video camera, people handling sound, there's live streaming going on, lighting. It's all part of the creative space. And you'll see these same people, they finish here, they're in a hurry to pack up their equipment, go to the next gig, and the next, and the next, and the next, and sometimes they end up disappointing clients, but we're not going to go there today. But the fact of life is, you can do that. Yeah, you could, and you could crash eventually. But while you're doing that, please, it's important to take care of your holistic well-being. And that's mentally, that's physically, that's spiritually. Every aspect of that should also be incorporated. The same seriousness with which you approach your career or your chasing money goals is the same seriousness with which you have to approach your health. Because guess what? Once your health fails, you won't be able to chase money anyway. So that should be paramount. How healthy you are, it's so, so, so important. We all know of people who today, they made so much money, they chased after so much. Today, maybe they're bedridden. They can't even spend that money. And at the end of the day, the fact of life is that none of us makes it out alive. So what are we really chasing, right? Okay, next slide. All right, so your growth mindset challenge. Again, a few things we've learned about, 10-second intro, etc. But choose something, learn a new skill. If you don't have a skill already, or maybe you have a skill, but you haven't yet seen the need to really develop that skill. That's also another thing. Maybe you like to cook. And it's not just women who cook, we know. There are men who are fantastic cooks, right? You just love to do that. Maybe that's your skill. That could actually end up making you a nice bit of change. You could do that. Learn a new skill. Find something of yourself that you enjoy doing and that is practical and that can sustain you. Connect with a mentor. We've talked about that already. Step out of your comfort zone. Oh, challenge yourself. Even if you feel like you're shaking your boots, do it. That's the only way to cross that barrier, okay? Now, for accountability's sake, write down those goals that you have and the things that we're talking about today and share it with someone who you know can keep you accountable. Not the person that you can intimidate. When the person approaches you and says, have you found your and you say, hey, if you're busy, Dabi. No. Somebody who you know will keep you accountable. They will hound you until you do it. And also remember that you don't have to do everything in one day. Take your time. Baby steps. We all get there on the same journey. Okay. Last slide. Are we done? I think we're nearing our end. Okay. So I'm just going to end with this. Your future is in your hands. You are the one who can make the change that you seek, okay, for your growth mindset. So please, work hard. Keep growing. Keep believing in yourself. When you leave here today, motivate someone who you know is sitting somewhere unsure about life. Tell them to just take one small step. Do something for themselves to enhance themselves. It doesn't take much. So if we leave here with anything today, just know that it doesn't take much for you to grow, but it takes an effort. It doesn't take much for you to grow, but it takes an effort, and that effort has to come from you. Thank you so much. I think my time is good, right? I'm done. Thank you.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Give it up for Kokwi again. Wow. Wow. I'm really short of words because, yes, I am. I think she shared really practical thoughts and experiences, and I believe that we all gingered up to grow, to make that little one effort to grow. Can we give it up for her one more time? Amazing. So I've received signal that breakfast is ready. Wisdom, we're set for breakfast, right? Okay, so we'll have breakfast, but we'll come back, eat, and then our speakers would be here. They will be ready to chit-chat with us, engage with us, and answer more questions as time goes on. So our DJ would give us some music in the background, and then we can go for breakfast. So the speakers would do us the honors to start. Thank you. So there are table numbers, and would go in a regulated manner according to our table numbers. But our speakers will start first. It's a buffet, so you'd have to walk up to the buffet table and then select what you want to eat. And so I'll direct the tables according to your numbers, please. Yes. Okay. This should be the way. Oh, it's quite tight up, eh? This way. Yes, it has to be this way. Okay, so you use all the way to the back. Okay, so after our speakers, we'll start with table 2. Or where is table 1? That's table 2. So the speaker's table is table 1. All right, so after speakers, we do table 2. So table 2 can join, please. Table 2, please, you can go. Just use the back. Yes, go behind to your right. So if you still have questions, you can kindly note them down so that when we're done with breakfast and we come back, you can engage our speakers. They'll be here for you. And those of us outside, those of us online, you're not left out at all. You can still put down your questions and share with the media team. It will be attended to. But the only thing is that you can't have the physical breakfast. You have your breakfast online for those online. All right. So once table 2 is done, table 3 will come next.
Feel like you have so many potentials because you know you have a lot of good potentials. You are good at so many things. How do you navigate treading on a certain career path, or how do you balance some of these potentials you have? Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so it's open for anyone to answer. She didn't specifically direct it to anyone.
Did you say Patricia? Priscilla. Okay. So you wanted to know how to balance or how to basically figure out what you should focus on because you have a lot of potential. Okay, let me ask you a question. If you had to choose one thing that every morning when you wake up, you're excited to do it, what would it be?
I think it will be anything that comes with a new experience. I like experiences. So something I wake up to, something creative, something something you would have to build a new concept, build a new idea, think about something, yeah, something like that.
So when you asked the question, you said you have a lot of things that you're good at, a lot of potential. So tell us some of the things that you're good at.
Okay, so I think Yeah, I sing. I like media stuff. I like to travel. I like to tour. What else? I can cook. I like to cook. I like to experiment with cooking, baking. I like to draw. I draw. I like sketching designs, like sewing. Yeah, just to mention a few.
You're a creative soul. That's what I'm hearing, because and that explains why you have that dilemma. Because I think for a lot of us creatives, we have that dilemma because we're always looking, as you said, to create something new or do something that's fresh. But you narrowed down. Initially, you said it was something new, but then you mentioned some specific things that you're good at and that you do. So I'm going to ask you again. Out of the things you mentioned, travel, singing, cooking, blah blah blah. What gets you excited in the morning? That if you were to do this thing every day when you wake up, I'm going to cook a new meal. Every day when you wake up, I'm going to practice my music. Every day when you wake up. And which one are you doing now, currently?
So currently, I'm trying to focus on music and getting into media as well, the YouTube space especially.
Does it excite you?
Yeah.
You enjoy it?
But it's scary.
It's scary. Good.
It feels scary.
It should be. Because then it challenges you.
Yeah.
But you enjoy it. You're passionate about it.
Yeah, I'm really passionate about it.
But the other thing I'll add is you have to survive. And more than survive, you have to thrive, right?
Yeah.
So in making that choice, I'd say at any given point in time, make sure it's something that can also feed you. Because passion is great. I'll be the first person to say that. But being passionate and broke is not so great. And I'll also be the first person to say that. So in all of that juggling, and I wouldn't say discard necessarily but at a point you will have to prioritize. And the one that you'll prioritize is the one that gets you going, gets that excitement, because that's the one you'll stick with for the longest. It may end up that you start with some, and along the way you realize, okay, I love it, but it's not something I really want to do as a career. Because doing it as a career requires a lot of commitment in other ways. It requires investment of your time, your money, your energy. So which one of those things do you think you can actually pump all of that into and be satisfied and happy with it? But let it be something that feeds you as well. That's my 2 cents on it. So do a bit of introspection and decide which you can prioritize. Make a priority list of the things you love to do. And I don't know what Mr. Mpari wants to add to that.
Hello? Yeah. So thank you, Kokwi. Let me just add to what Kokwi said. I like to use models and framework, to evaluate thoughts. So that's what we call the competence ladder, all right? So the first thing is actually to list what you think you are good at. I mean, have you been to a service where somebody is singing and the person is so excited, but you are sitting down saying that, can this person just drop the microphone and go? So perhaps there are many things that you think you are good at or you can do but are not good at. So let's talk about the competence ladder. The first thing is you are unconsciously incompetent. Unconsciously incompetent. This was a model that was set up by a guy called Noah Burke. Unconsciously incompetent. Unconsciously incompetent means that you are doing the thing, you think you are good at it, but hey, you are not good at it. Anytime you step forward to do it, everybody wants you to just get off the scene. And there are many people like that. Like in your head, I'm good at it. But to others, like a British man will say, you are rubbish. Just get off the scene. So unconsciously incompetent. Then there is consciously incompetent. So the first one, you're unconsciously incompetent. You don't even know that you don't know. The second one is that you are conscious that you are incompetent, right? Even though you think you can do it, you know that you are not the best at it. So what do? You try and find a mentor, you read more about it, you put yourself in that space, you take opportunities so you can actually improve in that level. So consciously incompetent. Then you get to I mean, forgot to know. Unconsciously incompetent, consciously incompetent, and then consciously competent. Right? Consciously competent. So consciously competent is that you know how to do it. that is when you are given the opportunity, you step out to do it, right? And then there's a final level of mastery. I've even forgotten how to call it. That one, when they wake you up from bed, you can actually do it. They can wake Kokwe up from bed and she starts singing, or singing sometimes in your dream. So maybe you can sing in your dream. So when you list all these capabilities or skills that you think you have, you can look at them, side by side under this framework and see which ones you are good at. All right. There's also unconsciously competent. That's the one that people see about you that you don't even know about yourself. They can say, don't you know you are good at this? I get that sometimes. When maybe you'll say, hey, Charlie, you have to do this, or you have to go out and inspire the youth. I say, hey, Charlie, relax. So I'm seeing this program and I'm so happy about it because somebody has stepped out to make this happen. So put the list down and evaluate them with this framework to see. You'll see that others will tell you even things about you. There's something that you also like to study. It's called the Johari window. The Johari window, you have other people tell you about things that they know about you that you don't know about yourself. That will be helpful. And with these, you can actually prioritize the capabilities that you have. Thank you.
Thank you, Kokwe. Thank you, Mr. Mpari. Who is next? So, yeah.
Thank you very much. My name is Emarine, and I have two questions. The very first is, how do you sustain or maintain a relationship with a mentor that is extremely busy and perhaps has 1,001 things to do, and you are the only one maybe reaching out? That is one. And I know you're going to say you have to change the mentor, but... So yes, that's one. How to sustain a relationship with a mentor, to actively be involved in your progress, in your growth, and to channel you what mentors are supposed to do. And secondly, I want a very honest question. How do we, honest answer, yes. How do young people, especially women, manage career break? And when I talk about career break, about family, I'm not talking about like 30 plus. If you are very young and fortunately you get married, you start a family, and obviously you do not have all the time for just your career, but you're trying to do everything possible. But then with your other colleagues who do not have such responsibilities are climbing up the ladder, is it actually possible? I know you're going to say Oprah started this and that, KFC started late and all of that, but would like to know, I love the fact that we have different groups of people in here, especially with Miss Roselyn, who started from national service all the way. That's quite easy to have a career break because you've had a number of experience at a particular organization, so you can go on leave and all of that. I love that Mr. Mpari is also over here, who can give us this. If you want to be in corporate and you are female and you experience career break, is it really going to be possible to climb up and also be like where you want to be within a very short time? Is it realistic? And also for Kokwe, I know she's going to say with the creative, you do your own stuff. That is one other thing that we could also talk about. And with the lady here who's both into corporate and also with creativity, I would love to also hear from her part how she is able to manage her entrepreneurship field as well as her personal corporate life. Would she have been where she is now without starting family or not? I know it's been long, but it's just to give you insight of where I'm coming from. Thank you very much.
Okay, so let me take the second one. Then we will talk about the first one. So I'm just going to use a practical, give you a practical answer. So I work with a colleague who was a level, like a few levels, below my level, and she went to have a baby, and now she's back. She closes at 3:00. Okay. That's because of her maternity leave, and she's been doing that for a year because that's our policy. Now, the first thing I'll say is have a very good relationship with your boss. So there's that communication. Your boss understands that, okay, you are taking a break because of childbirth, all right? And you're certainly going to come back to the job. So you might not be actively involved in the work of the department, but you have oversight of what's happening, or sight of what's happening. So for every activity, you might not even get into the calculations, or let's say reading into detail, but you have a summary of everything just to keep up with what's being done. So this is what I did with my colleague, that every time there's a meeting, there are minutes, we send a copy. I know she's a nursing mother, she might not have time to read all, but just the summary, bullet points, just to be abreast with what's being done. Now, that's your boss helping you to be abreast with what's going on. Now, the next one is you. So this is a colleague who is very practical and given to the work and applies herself, knowing that, number one, they say it's a man's world. It's a man's world. Yeah, it still is, eh? I mean, I don't believe that. It's a man's world. Once you are good, you are good. So it's a man's world. So she knows that she's been away for some time. Now she's back at work. Even though she has to close at 3 o'clock, when is that time between 8 a.m. and 3 p.m., there's no swanning around. You know what swanning around is? When you get to the office and you're working and saying hello to everybody. So this person sits at her desk, does all the work that's given her, and even asks for more. Like, okay, if there's any new thing, let me be the one leading it, because she's the next in command, So your boss can give you all the opportunities, or I gave her all the opportunities, summarized everything, but she applied herself. So now she closes at 3 and I have no challenge. In fact, yesterday, she left the country, coming back on Tuesday, right? I wouldn't need her, because if I have something, I just have to send it to her. So that break, I really don't feel it, because the person is applying herself to it. If you don't apply yourself, then you will see that gap. You now have to catch up everywhere. So your boss can give you all the privileges and opportunities and help you and support you with I would say the liberties of enjoying that. Sometimes, I can't come to work, I have to take my daughter, so I say, do it. Why? Because when you give her work, she's dependable. At 3 o'clock when she's leaving, there's nothing left on her desk. She does the work. So it's a cost, right? You have to understand that you are employed by an organization, and the organization must also depend on you for productivity. So knowing that you have some little space of time, there's been a break, you have to catch up. You also have to double up. I don't know, my answer is very practical. That's how I've experienced, some colleagues. So that's the answer I'll give to you. Maybe Koku will give you more answers. Yeah.
Okay. There's so many things we can say about what you asked. Because from a female perspective, there are many variables, and I think this is why it's important. And for all of the young ladies here, if you haven't already, plan your life. And when I say plan your life, again, socially, in the construction that we have of society, there are certain expectations, should I say, of society, and then expectations for yourself. So you may decide, I want to have a family. That's a choice. So if you know you want to have a family, how do you plan to do that? Because, it's nice for it to be like an abstract thought for one day. Oh, I want to have children one day. When do you want to have children? At what age? Okay. Are you a career person? What is your career? In that career, are you more likely to face problems if you take off time to have children, or are you likely to still be able to sail through? Where are the gaps going to be? What are some of the pros and cons of being in this field and having a family? Okay, well, I would like to have 3, but looking at where I want to go with my career, 2 would be more practical. Talk to your fertility doctor, your gynecologist. Okay, I'm 25. I think I want to have 3 children. What's a good time for me to start and end? How much space should be between my children? These are practical questions that you need to ask. And if you're a woman in this room and you've never been to a gynecologist, please make an appointment immediately. It is not an option. It is not an option. You need to know what's going on with your body. You need to know, especially if you want to have children, and especially if you're sexually active. I think we can speak about this. It's about growth. Especially, you need to see your doctor, know what you're doing, know what you're working with in there. Plan. Now, I think Mr. Mpari is right. Sometimes reality is companies have rules and they have ways they operate. So if you're in the corporate space, you may have to face that. If you're lucky enough to have male allies like him where you work, then maybe you'll be fortunate. It's not often the case. It's not often the case. Sometimes, and forgive me for saying this, sometimes even our fellow women can be even harder on you than the men. Sometimes the men are the ones who will even encourage you more and say, look, come on, you know, when are you coming back to work? I'll support you. You need some time off, it's okay. And then you'll get the female boss who will say, Kwe, you're taking time off again. No, we can't have this. But these are personalities you may have to deal with in the corporate space. So you've got to be very intentional about your life plan, where you want to go in life, and it's not too early to start that if you haven't already. Know what you want to do career-wise and start planning for it, especially if you want to have a family. The other thing I'll say is, even though it's a bit unrelated to what you asked, if you are a woman in this room, or anywhere, or online, hello online, and you know you are a career-minded woman, you are an independent woman, you work, or you want to work, you want to have a career, never, ever, ever give that up for any man. Don't do it. Ever. Always be financially independent. I don't care if your husband says he will pay for your whole life. Have your own money. Have your own money. You should be able to, at any time, if for whatever reason you need to, you should be able to pick up and move and go without having to think, hey, what am I going to do now that I don't have a husband or my husband is bluffing me or I can't? No, have your own money. It's okay if you've got joint money, aside your own money. Do not let the joint money is not your money. Please listen to me carefully. The joint money is not your money. Have your own money. Please, for your own future, and plan your life. So start thinking about it now if you haven't already. Never give up your career for a man. Take this advice seriously. If you have a man who is all over you and say, oh, you want weekend? You don't have to work. Red flag, run. In fact, you know what? No, go into it. And then come and find me later and say, Koku, you told me. Have your own money, please. Even if it's 5 CDs, it's your 5 CDs. Okay. But have we answered your question? Are you sure? Because it was a lot. Are you sure? If not, you can say. I mean, if there's something else you need answered. You want to hear from Agatha? Yeah.
I think I remember the question about how I manage both my career and then basically for my career, you know, when Yao was talking, she said that when the lady comes to the office, she gives her all. I don't leave a vacuum. Nobody ever feels that I have a business. So I am so good at my job that you can't even imagine that I have something running for me, right? So I don't leave a vacuum. I make sure that my 9 to 5 is what feeds my after 5. So really, I give my best over there. Then, when it comes to my business, I have employed skilled and qualified people, and I make sure that I train them to become what I want them to deliver on. So they might not be from the beginning what I want, but with time, they begin to understand the values. I'm fortunate to be an HR professional, so I understand how to create an environment where people thrive with their own skills. But for somebody who might not have this particular skill, you can learn it. So I think that's what's working for me. I'll not say it's easy, but it's also about time management, really. Because you must know when to do what, when to stop, when to go, when to... You must know, and you must plan. So my weekends are for my business, friends and family, and acquaintances. But my Monday to Thursday, because my office, we have this flexi Friday thing, so it's fine. Monday to Thursday, it's hard to get me. I'm hard on my day job, very hard. Yeah, so that's how I've managed myself till now. And yes, I have children, I have a husband, I have all that. But obviously, segmenting your life is very key as well. So know when to do what and when to stop and keep going. Thank you. Thank you, Agatha. Really, really practical points for sharing. There are some comments or questions from Zoom. But before that, Kokui, what's the meaning of, is it Tale or every morning you post something, T-S-A-L-E? Oh, Chale as in Chale.
Chale.
I thought it was another language. So I Googled it, I couldn't find it. The T-S.
That's how we say ch in Ga.
Okay.
And that's how we say ch in Ebe, I believe as well.
The same.
And I think in Akan it's KY.
Oh.
But everybody, we've adulterated it by using CH, which is not really, if you think about it. So I write mine like the Ga Chale. Like the Ga. The Ga ch sound.
Okay.
Which is TS.
So
that's all.
I always see you post that and I'm like,
that's how I spell Chale. That's
Okay.
all. T-S-A-L-E.
What is the motivation or inspiration for writing Chale?
For Chale, I actually say Chale a lot.
You say
a lot. And, you know, something about social media, and we all use social media, but I think it was Mr. Mpari who mentioned it earlier about what you use it for, and using it for things that are actually productive and all of that. And so social media it's a very interesting beast, right? Because it can easily go left or right. So you got to be very careful about it. But for me, I just wanted a signature thing. Something that would be, when you see it, you know it's me writing.
Because when I Googled that, your face and then your everything came up.
That's my thing. There are some people, there's one guy, Samuel Duan, I think he uses, he writes, it's X-E-X-E, which I think in Ebe would be hehe. Like before he types anything on his post. So as soon as I see that, I'm like, okay, he's about to type something. Like it's almost like that signature you have that people know, okay, this is you. And they know, okay, that's Kokui, it's Kokui's post. This is how she writes. So for me, it's like my signature greeting. Like, Charlie, we're going to talk about something. So, Charlie, this is what's going on. Charlie, this is what's next. Charlie, this is what's happening. Charlie, what they happen?
What they happen?
Yeah, so that's just my thing.
That's really nice. Thanks for sharing. At least now I'm enlightened on that. Okay, so there's a question from Zoom. It says, a big thank you to Ma'am Roselyn and our panelists. My question is to both panelists. One, have you always felt the urge to grow? Has the motivation always to keep growing been there? If yes, how did you stay on that path? If no, how and what did you do to bring yourself back on the journey of growth? Is that clear, or I should take it again? Do you want me to take it again? It's clear. Okay, all right. So that question is from, is it Enoch? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think I have to just use a practical example. So when I was 18, 19, I wrote my name and wrote a few qualifications by my name. And the intention was that as the years go by, I'll just be taken by those qualifications. Now, looking back now, somebody's asking, has he ticked all of them? So maybe I've ticked 3 and I have 2 more. Now, let me use a scripture. Looking unto Jesus, the author and the finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross. There must be an expectation and a joy, right? What do you want to grow to become? That decision must be made very early in life. What do I want to look like? Now, if you consistently harbor that thought, it will drive you. If there's no picture of where you want to go, there won't be any growth. Like, what are you growing into? Or what are you becoming? In fact, there was a message one day I preached somewhere. What am I becoming? Right? So your daily activities will determine what you are becoming. So if you have a destination, a target, an ambition, that will drive your growth. So you're asking, how do I get there? Write it down. You really have to write what you want to become down. Just write it down on a sheet of paper. Paste it somewhere. They call it a vision board, right? Maybe you don't have the pictures. But write it somewhere. Write it on your diary. You know, even when you want to build a house, I had a friend, okay, my colleague in the office. He wanted to buy a Lexus. Yeah, saloon. So he had a big on his monitor. I was like, "But now then, your car will be to." I said, "You sit down." I'm telling you, 2 years he just had it on the screen. One day he just said, "I'm coming." Stepped down, came back, smashed my table with the key. He had a beautiful Lexus car. And you know, some way, somehow, there was some money paid somehow. So he just used that money because that's what he was looking at. He drove the Lexus for a very long time. I learned something from him. He kept it on his screen. What's on your screen? What do you keep looking at? When you wake up in the morning, what's in your face? I want to be a CEO one day, and not any CEO of any company, a very significant company. So I just searched through the podcasts and look for Mel Robbins. Yeah? Mel Robbins. How many of you know Mel Robbins? Mel Robbins. I eat John Maxwell. In fact, in 2015, every week I was almost buying a book, John Maxwell book. So those of you who haven't read Talent is Not Everything. When you come to my library, you see a lot of personal development books, a lot of Christian books. I don't want to keep away the God factor. The word enthusiastic is entheo, which is God inside you. Once you have God, you have hope. So that will also drive you to grow. You want to become something valuable. And I always say this, that even when you read the Bible carefully, the Old Testament tells you about Joseph, Daniel, give me some of the names, Moses. Those guys disrupted national systems. You don't find that in the New Testament. The New Testament is becoming like Christ, but the Old is how people were influential in life. What did they do? They grew. Somebody went into a pit. Somebody was swallowed by a whale. I like that one. They went through so many things. But imagine Joseph becoming a prime minister, and imagine Daniel being the top of all the satraps, the leaders over there. What did they do? They grew into the space. So you need to have a vision. In fact, as you are leaving this place, I want you to really write something down, what you want to become. I keep writing. December 31st, when everybody is so excited that 2025 has started, people are jumping over tables, I'm very quiet. And I'm telling myself, if I keep sowing this way, I'll reap this way. What is it that I'm going to do so differently in this year 2025 that will change my course in 2025? So have a vision. And you know, we always say that it sounds like some motivational speaking. Just try it. I saw somebody buy, Lexus is a higher form of Toyota, which is a very expensive car, ladies and gentlemen. But a guy bought it. He didn't buy it with a loan. He bought it cash. Why? Because it was on the screen. I've seen things. One day I went to the airport. In fact, Sunday I went to the airport and I just went to walk about. I was going to, I was going for to the arrival lounge. And I went on top of the departure. So I was saying, I called one of my friends. He said, sometimes I drive around the airport. My friends came to visit me from London. When I was seeing them off, I told them in 2 weeks I'll be in London. They said, please, whether this is prophetic, this is whatever. In 2 weeks, they were in the house and I knocked. They said, hey, I told you I'll come in 2 weeks. Set a vision. Really, who do you want to become? Sometimes I tell some teenagers that, how do you want your morning breakfast to be like? Cornflakes, juice, like what we're having over here. Oh, sorry, I know, see you. Now, Tioko Queen, let's say, chef, near the amount. But if you don't set that vision, you'll be there 45, 50, 60 years. Then you start regretting. So set a vision. And when you set a vision, it will drive you. I've forgotten that statement. When the cost of staying the same is higher than the cost of change, then you actually make that difference or change in your life. So look at the cost right now. How you can, I always tell my colleagues in the office, how I walk into a shop and see a 100-inch television, just look at it and say, hey, I do metal and I can't afford it. In 5 years, not even 5 years, too far. 2 years, a year from now, I should be able to walk into a shop and pick that TV and take it home. What will I do differently? Maybe it's AI. Maybe it's something else that I'll add to my study to actually get there. So set a vision. Today, write it down before you go. And get an accountability partner. Let him laugh at you all the time. Now, you're also better Lexus and metal. And he bought it one day. Thank you.
Hello.
Hi, hello. My name is Mami, and my question is based on the 3 kinds of people that Mr. Mpari spoke about in his session. So I want to talk about those who make things happen. So how do you handle fear or self-doubt when taking actions? And the second question is, what are the kind of habits or mindset shifts, mindsets that help someone transition into a person that can make things happen? How do you handle fear or self-doubt when taking actions?
Can you give a practical example?
Okay, so maybe I want to do something, or I'm those kind of people that if I go to a meeting, I can maybe do those presentations and stuff. But then I'm afraid that when I go and stand in front of the crowd, I might make a mistake. I am thinking in my head that that girl doing it is better than me. So I can't stand in front of the crowd and then do a presentation. Though I have all the slides intact, I know what I want to say. But then to take that next step, stand in front of the crowd, I can't do it.
What makes you think the girl is better than you?
Because the way she's talking and people are nodding their head, they are giving her fans. If I go and stand there, I don't think I can get that crowd.
But why have you defeated yourself before you've even gone? Have you tried it? You haven't. You've fixed mindset. You've defeated yourself already by telling yourself, I'm not good enough. Why? What? You've literally programmed your mind to say, I can't do this. I'm not good enough. So would you agree that you are the cause of your own fear? Has anyone ever told you you're not good enough?
Not.
Thank you. Don't say anymore. No. It is you. Why would you do that to yourself? So I'm just going to throw it back at you. You are the cause of the problem. You are the one who has to fix the problem. But in all seriousness, why would you look at what someone is doing and tell yourself automatically you can't do that when you haven't even tried? You haven't even tried. So I would encourage you to challenge yourself and try. I would encourage you to challenge yourself and try. You said something. You said you're good at presentations.
Yes.
And what is a presentation? Isn't it what we just all stood here and did?
Yeah, just true, yeah.
What's the difference between that and you going to stand in front of people and talk? It's the same thing you're doing. Is it the size of the audience? Is it the location? Is it the clothes you're going to wear? The hairstyle that you're thinking, hey, will people think is ugly? But don't you have material to share? Yeah. Okay, one thing that I think will help. When you're very solid with your information, you don't even have time to focus on whether this one is thinking my shirt. Who cares? When you're focused on what you're delivering and you're actually solid with your information, the other stuff doesn't even come in because you're that comfortable. But when you are shaky and maybe you're not as prepared as you could be, that's when those intrusive thoughts start to take hold and you start to doubt yourself because you yourself know that you're not prepared enough. So the confidence stems from knowing that you're ready and you're there by merit and no one can question your competence. And I think Mr. Mpari has said that already. Once you are solid, I think Agatha also mentioned it, you cannot question your work. Always strive to be at a point in your career where your work cannot be questioned. If people are going to talk about anything, it shouldn't be your work. They can never get you on that. And that's what makes you actually indispensable. And it's the people who don't really care about their work that when they go on leave, next thing you know, someone is sitting in their chair. They've been waiting for you to go because you're not on top of your stuff. Once you're on top of your stuff and you're confident in what you're doing, that takes away 90% of what you are calling fear. The fear stems from you not feeling that you're prepared enough. So start there. Make sure that you have a solid grasp on whatever it is that you're doing. Your work should be unquestionable for yourself. I think if you start there and you actually give yourself a chance to try what you say you're afraid of, you'll notice that it's actually not something you should fear at all. And in fact, you'll probably enjoy doing it. Volunteer. The next time there's an opportunity for something like that at your job, volunteer and do it. Just give yourself a chance. But make sure when you stand up there, you are solid. You know what you're talking about. And you're comfortable talking about it so that the slightest bits of self-doubt doesn't throw you off. That's what will throw you off, is when you're not ready. But if you're ready, you won't have a problem. That's my 2 cents. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, maybe let me add a bit to that. So just the word validation, right? No matter who you are, at some point you need validation. Even when you're a public speaker, as you scan through the crowd, you are actually looking for those who are nodding and seem to be curious, wanting to hear more. So if you are very observant, wherever there's public speaking, maybe even in church preaching, you find that a pastor stands at one particular connection because there's that response. I mean, Achere here does that very well. Wow! I mean, she's got that thing. So if you're a preacher and you're standing in front of her, you would like to stand there because she will give you that response. Now, validation is very important. That's when you are speaking, right, to people. The next level of validation is getting someone who does what you are doing, but at a higher level. Now, I told you that not because the person maybe is a presenter. This is somebody, the one I said yesterday I rehearsed with. She's in Canada. She's bedridden, but was a very good student in school. Bedridden for so many years. In was it 2007 when I was doing my master's? She said, "Oh, Charlie Mekwaba, I had a serious accident and a broken spine. I was doing morning devotion for a church for 4 years, back to back, and she was reviewing every night. So the intelligence is there and everything. So anytime I'm going to speak to someone, I'm like, let's do some rehearsal. When I start talking and presenting my slides, you tell you, this is rubbish. Take it out. I said, no, take it out. It's rubbish. So she asked me the question yesterday, that what if somebody asks a question about temperaments? What will you say? Sister, so I was already prepared for you. So she's at home and she's always learning. Even though she's paralyzed, her brain is working. So she knows what's happening, always looking to presentation. So I'd go to her that, what do you think about it? There's sort of validation. Then after everything, I'll ask her, is it good? She'll say, Charlie, go and fire. Every program that I do online, she's online. After that, we can say, now I said, now can. I used to do podcasts. Podcast is very difficult because you're in a room, you're not seeing anybody, and you are recording. But she will be online on Zoom watching. 1, 2, 3, 10 minutes later, I said, validation. By the time you have done that once, twice, thrice with somebody who is good at what you do, you gain the confidence. Now you realize that, now Roselyn Ninipa 10,000. She's nodding her head. I must be doing something good. It helps me. So you get a few more people. Kokui is here. I'm talking, Kokui is doing this. Hey, Kokui, we've been seeing her on TV. Now live, she's not there. I must be saying something sensible. Let me tell you something. Last one. I went for a conference. There was this Commonwealth conference that I was supposed to go and speak. So, when I went, I sat down quietly. It's not easy to stand before people talking, quietly. One of the ladies was a panelist. So, she said, from here, I'm going to Switzerland. Then from there, I'll go to France. I said, hey, wait. No, she's going up and down. What will I say? This person started talking. I said, France, Switzerland, madam. What are you saying? When I got to my turn, I got, when I hold a microphone, something happens to me. I like to talk. I like to teach. So that fire comes upon me. So I said, everybody has, people were sitting down talking, some were working out. I will just stand and talk. It was one of the best conferences I ever attended. But you see, when I heard her talking about going to, I said, this must be a serious international speaker. I almost doubted myself. Sometimes you also have to refer to times when you were so scared, but it went so well for you. You think I'll be standing here talking? I'll be saying, oh, help you, Roselyn. This morning when I woke up, I had some serious running stomach. So I think I can't come for today. Achire is here. She'll laugh at me, check that this man cry. He doesn't do anything. So validation, very important. I just wanted to add that. Thank you.
Can I add one more thing to that as well? You have to have tough skin. Tough skin. As he was talking about sometimes the feedback that your colleague gives you, listen, sometimes you have to be prepared for people to be brutally honest with you. Brutally honest. And it's generally constructive. It's to help you, right? But if you're a sensitive person, I'm just thinking back to some of the teachers I've had in life. If you're a sensitive person, those things could easily break you. But you've got to make that conscious choice to say, you know what, I'm trying to grow here. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to be better. And if this is going to help me be better, I'm going to stomach it. It's not easy all the time. And like you said, it can make you doubt yourself. Am I really good at this? Is this something I really should be doing? Yes. It's a test of your resilience. You've got to have tough skin. This world is not, it's not all flowers and candy, you know? It's a tough world out there. And especially when you want to be globally competitive, you've got to have tough skin because there are a million other people doing the same thing we're all doing. So again, it goes back to your USP. What's unique about you? What's going to make you stand out? How tough can you be? Can you be resilient? Can you withstand some of these shocks, reality shocks that people sometimes give you that may not be pleasant to hear, but they are meant to forge you like fire, you know? So just resilience is very key. So it's a key skill to have, one of those soft skills that everyone has to build. And it's not always easy, but it will help you in the long run to deal with life's challenges. And they come at you thick and fast, let me tell you, at every stage of life. You know, so resilience is key as well.
Thanks.
Thank you, Kokwi. So we have our final question. I'm sorry to disappoint everyone, but we have to take a final question. Probably after our photos, if there's more time, we could do more. But for now, this should be our final question. We'll come back for the sip and paint as well. So table Roselyn, there's someone who has a question. Oh, the mic.
Thank you so much. Okay, my name is Amos Osaimen Sabonsu. I want to appreciate you for the Blockbuster and the Netflix. It has really inspired me. You know, most of us, we have a lot of great ideas, but discouragement can just make us bury what we want to do. But that has really inspired me. Thank you so much for that. I think I'll go and read more to get more inspiration. Okay. You mentioned something about humbleness. Can you throw more light on that? Because maybe somebody might think, okay, so from here I'm going to not be humble under people or try to, you know. So if you can throw light on that for us to understand why we are not supposed to. Because I had a friend in 2020, and from US. When we were talking, he said something. The way you are talking, you are coming from a humble home. And I asked, what does it mean? He just wanted to be nice to me. I did my own research and I realized that say we are coming from a humble, it means all you hear any. So Abel pointed out about the way I was talking. It's like I'm so careful. Kind of. So if you can throw more light on that so that we'll be able to come out and be us, you know, speak well, so that how we speak will show how we are. Okay. All right. So my last question is, I like today, you know, because I've realized I have to be me and do what I want to do. I have a lot of things I want to do. I'm into this, I'm into that, and thanks. I learned you're a musician, right? Yeah, I'm also a musician. I think I have to connect with you. Yes. How do you handle leaders who doesn't want you to be you? Because they think when you become you, one, you can leave. leaders who doesn't want you to become you? Yes.
Like your boss.
Good. How do you handle such situations? Because they think when you become you, the spotlight will be on you, you wouldn't get time, and maybe sometimes they will think you become better than them, so they'll try to, So how do you handle that? Thank you so much.
Okay, so I'll start from you. Even for you to think that the leader doesn't want you to grow. 1. 2, thinking that if you walk in your power, your superpower, right? Yeah. Your leader will not be happy about it and would like to crush you. Itself is a wrong mentality. I'll start from there. Because the first thing that we need to think about is that we are complementary. I'm here not because of myself, but also because of somebody. Then serving becomes very easy for you. So you can do anything and be where and be anything to support a particular cause and not yourself. The moment you start thinking like that, there's a little problem. Maybe you are trying to step out of the boundary of you. And what I'm saying is a little complicated, right? When you have the right mindset, you're able to serve at any point. And it's tied to the question of humility. You see, there's a thin line between humility and timidity. What we have as African people sometimes is just that we are timid. When they ask you in an interview, what's your name? By the grace of God. Don't hide behind the grace of God. I've been in interviews, and when we are interviewing, they say, by the grace of God, they don't say, yeah, sister, what about interviewer? It's interview. We are asking about scientific things, technical things. Talk boldly. The grace of God has enabled you to talk boldly. So, if you are with a boss, and a boss feels like that, there might be a reason why the boss is feeling like that. How are you serving? If you have the opportunity, buy this book, The Rules of Work. Very important book. Sometimes don't seek to excel your boss. Maybe you went to my school. Okay, we went to Presec. And your boss went to some school. So his foundations were not correct. And so he has grammatical errors or issues. Or the tare so sir. Then, in a meeting when your boss is talking, you are correcting your boss. Or making your boss feel his school and you also feeling your school. Your boss will never like you and will never like you to rise to a place. Now, let me give you a practical example. I like practical examples. We have a research center, so I took my team. I like to expose my team. I talk about visibility. If I'm the manager, I'm not coming to stand there to defend everything. I want the one who did the work to defend, so somebody can see there's a great person in the team. So I go for a meeting, and the guys get me upset because they are not pushing things. They are just being slack about things. So I'm very radical in the meeting, just blasting everybody. And then one of the colleagues I took along with me gets up and says, yeah, I don't agree with you. And I say, how dare you sit down? He said, I'm not sitting down. Wow. That's how we do in our church. Wow. But you see, then I said in my head, this is why some managers never take their colleagues to certain meetings. You don't have the guts to rise up and tell me you don't agree with me in a meeting where I am your manager and I have a particular philosophy I'm trying to drive. Even if you don't agree with me, after the meeting, see, I deal with it. Let me say, I don't agree with you. But to rise up in there and say no, and I'm not sitting down, that's an issue. But I'm fine. I'm a Christian, so of course, forgiveness. The only thing is that the person realized that then it was a Friday, so the Monday I was sulking. Then she came, is everything okay? What did he? Then I was like, why you cool, sir? So in our Monday meeting, right? This Monday meeting, it was like 3 weeks ago. I never addressed it because I wanted the person to realize. Then we did a chat. So energy and capacity, as I said. So there's a high energy, high capacity. Then she said, yeah, you are here. High energy, high capacity. But sometimes you come across as a little arrogant. Especially, remember that meeting? And I'm saying, no, the Wamba. I like my colleagues, so we have that, even to tell me that there's no problem. If I come across as arrogant, Ghana, we don't like strong people. We don't like people who are very confident, I used to teach in a church somewhere, and the lady said, anytime you stood to talk, you were annoying me all the time because you stood with so much confidence. When you have knowledge and skill, sometimes you come across as a very powerful person. But you see, you have to bring your knowledge and your capability towards your boss or close to your boss. Serve him. Let your boss feel so good so your boss will not feel threatened. Every time you say, my boss, my boss, my boss, my boss, you refer to him. So he feels good about it. He will take you everywhere. But in a place where your boss is singing high tenor, you're also singing double high tenor. They've given you backing microphone and even your voice is louder than, come on, you will sit down, you won't go anywhere. There are people like that who don't want their people to grow because they are intimidated. When you have a boss like that, certainly, I believe in leaving jobs or leaving certain spaces. Otherwise, you will never become your star. Let me tell you, even though you are here to compliment someone, everyone God made special. Everyone is a star. When you stand in your space, you could even be in a place. This is a climate policy expert. She can be under you, but when she steps in that space, COP 30, go and see her COP 30. Even if you are the one who gave birth to her, when she stands to speak, you will sit down because it's positional. But she will come down and say, that's what Jesus did. Jesus went back to the mother after she said, woman, it's not my time. In John chapter 2, she said, it's not my time to turn water into wine. But later on, went back and said, ma'am. So it's working together with your boss, making him feel good all the time. One day, and you add prayer. Hello? Add prayer. One day your boss will say, oh, you are such a fantastic guy. I think I'll now, sit back and let you do it. It happens all the time. But when you compete, your boss will let you sit down. Nobody will see you anywhere. So first of all, deal with your mentality first. Don't ever think that you are indispensable. You are so good. The moment you start thinking, I'm so good, I could be better than my boss, that is Absalom. That's a principle altogether.
Okay, I'll use this one for now. This is not on. Sorry, on my left hand. I think he's said quite a bit. And what he has broken down for you is corporate structure. And once you've placed yourself in the corporate space, sometimes you do have to swallow it a bit. It can burn, especially if you feel you are more qualified than your superiors or it can burn. But you have a goal. Maybe you know that this is where I am for now. I have aspirations of being somewhere else. But to get where I need to go, I need to be here for now. Everything is for a season, right? And with times, change comes. No situation is permanent. And that works both ways. No good situation is permanent. No bad situation is permanent. It can either get better or worse either way. A good situation can get better or it can get worse. A bad situation can get better or worse. But a lot of it depends on how you act in whatever situation that is. So if you're in a corporate space, and like I said, he said a lot already, you just have to know how to navigate those levels at each given point in time and know what you want to get out of it, because your actions are the only ones you can control. You cannot control your boss's actions, no matter what you want to do. You can't. You can only control what you want and know what you want to get out of that space. And if you get to the point, and I think y'all said this earlier, if you get to the point where you feel like you have outgrown a space, move. Look for that opportunity that's going to serve your needs. And sometimes that happens. I think I've exhausted what this place can give me. I think it's time for me to move on. You are well within your rights. No one is stopping you. If you feel like you've gotten to that space, do yourself that favor of moving to something that will make you grow. And I think that will help you. But otherwise, gather as much as you can from the space you're in and learn to navigate the corporate structure. It can be a difficult thing to do, especially when you know that you have certain capabilities and you feel you're being stifled or whatever. But if that's the space you've chosen to be in for the moment, then you've got to learn to navigate it and play the game quite well. That's it.
So I just want to add something to this particular question. Just as Koki mentioned, if you believe that you have to go, you have to go. But I always say, don't go bending the bridges. Do not shut certain doors. Go, leave the door wide open. We need a lot of wisdom to navigate this. And I tell you, sometimes the spaces where your boss is stifling you, they're the same spaces where if you give yourself about 2-3 years, you are going to shine. But you must go through necessarily that phase, and you need that wisdom. You up and you go. I have had a situation where, we all knew that the person was receiving unfair treatment from the boss, but the way she left, and then she went to a job, and they said, we need a recommendation. And that was the only job she had done. But you see how she left, it was now difficult for her to come back. And when, I believe Koki mentioned humble, and the two things are different. We need humility. There's so much strength in humility, the ability to submit. As someone said, submission is strength under control. And ever since then, I've used it. To submit, but you submit with all power and all strength. Now, when he introduced himself and said a humble graduate, that's different from being a humble person in a particular situation. You should be proud that you've graduated from University of Ghana. We don't know the circumstances under which you graduated. So you saying, I'm humble, or maybe, as Mr. Mpari was saying, you are asked, by the grace of God. I've had that before. People say, but Roselyn, we know you are so hardworking. But anytime we ask you, you want to begin by the grace of God, tell us the hardworking bit. Because we know the grace of God is underlying, like that's the foundation. So we should not mix these two things up. We need a lot of humility. But that humility, as they said, shouldn't make you timid, so that everywhere you appear, I should be humble. So even in this room, if you are giving the center stage, as one, like you are asking a question, so you are afraid. But as we came for this hangout, we have not segregated. Anyone is sitting anywhere. You have the ability to ask a question. You are seeing the same resource persons. You understand? We all came here. We all have the same opportunity. But 1 or 2 people, or 3 or 4 or 5 will maximize it more than others. That's where that humble comes in. And someone will be, but humility, we need. If you are not humble in this kind of world we find ourselves in, because we all have potential, and you've heard from our resource persons, we have so much potential. But what is potential if someone does not hold your hand to take you to the right places? What is potential? What is potential? There are so many skilled people. Every time when I wake up, I tell myself, many people are skilled. Now, I went to a meeting. I came back just last week, Thursday. I was on a 3-country tour. My last workshop, I was the only black, only African. It was purely, they themselves told me, this is a Eurocentric meeting. Imagine what will make Eurocentric people invite me. I keep on telling my team all the time, the kind of work we are doing here. I work on forestry. If you look at Africa, the countries that have forests, DRC is there, Liberia has forests. What is pushing you always there? You show up and you show up well. That's right. And you show up and you speak well. That's right. You have authority over what you are saying, but you are still humble enough to say that even though I'm still learning. That's right. Not that you've invited me, I'm the only black here, so you are Kokoti, Africa, Kramiana, so you won't be called again. Yeah. So the sensitivity to understand the opportunities we have and the favor that's working for us. Because I always tell my people, there is no way you are going to expect your boss to respond to you. No, please, it's a wrong mentality. If you have a boss, they are leading like 2,000 people. So today this person says, I want to move this way. Then the boss turns, I want to move this way. No. You would have to adapt to the ways that your boss is working. They might not be the best, but then try adapting. And then try to win their hearts into your direction. Consider what Mr. Mpari said. He had built that capacity. The man called him. He brought it on board. That's it. But you
you are complaining about your boss, but you're also not building that capacity. And when you are given the stage, and no upon pema sem dada, and yes, akoko sache akroma enye fe. Akoko bi be sache akroma be ne fe. Suya sana akroma no peno na sachre no. Thank you very much.
Okay, wow. I think we'll take final closing remarks. Should we? Okay, so your final closing remarks. And then just a word or two, just to sum up, and then we'll go out for our photographs.
Okay, should I? Okay, from today, cut the self-doubt. I know that sounds simplistic. We all have our moments. Trust me, the two of us sitting here, we're not immune to feeling a bit insecure sometimes. But the question is, how do you respond to that? Always think of bouncing back, failing forward, learning, improving, growing, challenging yourself to the next task. You know how I met Roselyn? And let me tell you something. I have met her a grand total of how many times? One. And it was as if we had known each other for years. I met her at a British High Commission program. It was a seminar on, I think, the Red Plus grants or something, the forest, yeah. Something, they did a whole workshop with stakeholders about reforestation projects and carbon credits and things of that nature. Because if you understand the carbon credit system, basically it's an incentive for corporations especially to be greener in their operations, and by doing so they get some kind of credit for their so-called good behavior, but we won't get too technical. Now the reason I'm saying all of this is because the technicality of this workshop, listen, let me tell you, I have no forestry, why? The reading I had to do to prepare for this thing, and it was not a small program. This is, I won't say too much, she knows. And Roselyn was one of the experts, the resource experts they brought in to address the gathering. And it was quite an intimate gathering of experts, some who had been flown in, traveled in from all over the world. And I met her, and I just remember thinking, I was so impressed by her presentation, and I was so in awe and inspired by the fact that this young, beautiful Ghanaian woman is killing it in this space. And you don't see many people like her in this space on a global level, and she's killing it. I was like, you know something? Yeah, this is her space, and she's owning it. And it just reminded me and reaffirmed that we need to own our spaces. Whatever it is, whatever field you're working in, even if you are in the corporate space entry level, own your space. Be that employee that everyone looks at and says, hey, when this girl was in charge of buying the wachi, she will, the orders, no mistake. Listen, even if you're the person who fetches tea, whatever it is, own that space. Let people talk about you when you're gone, when you're no longer there, that there was this person we had. She was national service. You could not fault her. You could send her the whole day, which is what some of the bosses do, instead of letting you learn practical things, but it's okay. But you could send her the whole day. She will go, she will perfect it. Be that person, own your space. That was what Roselyn did for me. She just reminded me that no matter what you're doing, be excellent at it, even if it's for a moment. And through that, now I'm sitting here talking on her program. But that's how I met her, because of these things. So, and that is also to say, if you're faced with a new opportunity, for me, it was a big challenge. I had to go for meetings with the Deputy High Commissioner and all this, and they're sitting there expecting you to know what all of this is about. It's not my field, no. But if I'm going to put myself out there as a facilitator, a moderator, etc., then I've got to read. You've got to read. Please, prepare yourself for opportunities. Open your mind to new possibilities. And sometimes say yes instead of no. Even if you're not ready, say yes and then get ready. It can open those doors for you, honestly speaking. Okay, I'll leave it there. Thank you for the opportunity. Bye.
Yes, so Kokuya has said it all. But I really want to thank Roselyn for this opportunity to share. This is the most fulfilling thing, you know, to share your journey, your life, practical examples with maybe a younger generation. I would say that if you feel that there's something bigger than you're experiencing, you might be right. And if you feel that there's something greater than what you're experiencing, you might be right. But there has to be some action and a journey, and it must start from somewhere. In the Diary of a CEO, it talks about 5 buckets. The first 2 buckets, first one is knowledge. The second one is skill. And when you have knowledge and skill, the third bucket, perhaps, which is networking, people will come to you because of what you know and what you can do. So from now to the time when you blow, and I see you in traffic and say, Charlie, what's up? As Charlie, what's up? I want you to fill these 2 buckets. Be hungrier, if there's a word like that, than you've ever been. March, we're in April. The rest of the, how many months? 9 months. Consume. Become a beast. And see what you become in 31st December. When you hear of any program like this, just be there. This is free, oh. Me, after that, I'll stand outside and start collecting some money. Because I think this is not free. Right? So you have to pledge. Write something down today. Pledge that I'm going to be the best brand of myself. And 5 years' time, we'll meet somewhere and perhaps you will be the one sitting here sharing with us. Thank you. God bless you all.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Mpari. God bless you too. Thank you, Kokwi. God bless you. At this juncture, we'll move out for our photographs, and then we'll be... So before we go out for our photographs, Roselyn will just add something, then we come back for the sip and paint.
I really want to appreciate our resource persons. Please help me. Let's appreciate them with an... Some are standing, some are standing. Next time you'll be paying to see them all. What a session. What a breakfast. This is fully loaded. Full option, full package. Thank you so much. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. To think that just one encounter, and all it took was actually one encounter. Even with the 2 of them, with Mr. Mpari as well, and that one encounter, he even saw me. We didn't really talk. Just one encounter. What that one encounter can do. Today you are sitting by someone. This one encounter. Yes. But please, let's appreciate them once again with a resounding clap. An honorable one. The way we do it at Hangout. Yeah, yeah. Like by now, the music people will give us some sound beat. Yeah. Hey, 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 hey. They are taking me into unknown waters. So you... Please, let's have our seats. I just want us to wrap. So we've tweaked the program a bit. It got exciting. It's almost 1 p.m. So we want to close this, and then we take our photos. Then we come in to do the sip and paint. As many as want to stay. I think we have opportunity for 40, right, canvases. So we want to do 2 groups of 2 or 3. And let's see what we'll do. Take that seriously as well. It's part of the breakfast. Intentional. When the policeman says intentional, who are you not to be intentional? But just a few points. We've heard so much. I wrote notes. I saw other people writing. Please, let's make good use of them. These are golden nuggets. Be hungry for them. It shouldn't just end with today. When you go back, brood over them. You see, we are on YouTube, so you can revisit it. Take your time. There are things that you think that you heard already. When you go back to play, you realize that you didn't hear a lot. And then you take it one day at a time. But I want to just touch on some few points. The fact that, and I say this if you know me, when it comes to excellence, never settle for mediocrity. Push for excellence. Recently, I heard someone say on social media that, everybody who knows me, you know I'm a Christian, that God has the spirit of excellence. So if you are not, there's a demon in you. I say, hey, people have interpretations. But we are getting there. But push for excellence. Imagine what we are doing here. 5 amazing people. Are they in the room? Eric, Rhoda, Agenda, head of production. When I saw the screens, the projection and the live, I was like, this is fantastic. Agenda Kobe is a brand on his own. Yeah, big brand on his own. He's not charging me for this. The first time he met me, he just said, Madam, you are a brand. He did a logo for me with my name, explained the brand. I was like, who is this guy to me? I don't even know I'm a brand. And then Akosuya is here. Akosuya wrote the concept for Hangout. Eric is here. When he heard we were doing this, he said, I want to be part, whichever way I can help. Then Isaac, I don't know if... Isaac, as for Isaac, if I say too much about him, by the end of the program, you see him lying outside that I should work on him. The guy just practically, if I can say worship, he can say thank you to me like 20 times a day, but he's a fantastic guy. All I need to do is to send him an audio of what I want. If it's a letter, whatever, whichever, whether it's work outside of work, just an audio. Isaac, this is what I want. He will produce it. Sometimes midnight, 1 a.m. to some of my external partners. One of them saw him and said, Isaac is American. Are you a spirit or something? Or he saw me and said, Roselyn, that guy you work with, Isaac, is he a spirit? That guy doesn't sleep? That's Isaac for you. He doesn't sleep. And all my external people know him. He coordinates my calendar. As I sit here, I don't know what I have in a day. By 5 a.m., he sends the schedule, the links, the talking points, the questions that will be asked, like everything. He's been doing that, I think, for the past 2 years or so. He's made my life fantastic, in and outside of Ghana. And then there's Rhoda. Rhoda is somehow my pet. She just loves me. She also came on board. She came in all the way from Tamale. She now works there. She arrived this dawn just to be here. Now, we are doing this, not being paid by anyone, but we are doing it with a lot of excellence. I tell them that if we must do it, then it must be done well. If we must get a place, we must get a good place. If we must do registration, souvenirs, streaming, whatever it is, let the resource persons, who we are not paying for, come in and say, we are part of something that has a big vision. And as I sat here, I wrote that this thing is going to be very big. And then immediately I wrote that. I actually heard it. Mr. Ampari turned to me and said, this thing is going to be big. That was just confirmation. And I showed him what I had written. Strive for excellence. If you must show up well. Don't just show up anyhow. We can't just say, well, the Hangout cry is free, so we'll do anything that we want to. No. And yesterday I told them a story of, I opened a salon 15 years ago, a hairdressing salon, yeah. I'm very, very ambitious and entrepreneurial. And I had people in there, and it was at Dakuman Junction. It was a nice salon, over 15 years ago. And then we started charging by the community. So I was charging very low rates. And one of the girls there told me that, Madam, what you expect in the future is what we must start doing now. If you start charging these low prices in 10 years, you cannot change it. And if you start charging these prices, the people here might complain, but eventually our services will attract the people we want. I didn't take it. In just about 6 months or so, another salon popped up close to us. They didn't have half the things we had, but they just specialized in one thing, hair cutting, short hair. The number of cars that parked there, and she was charging and they were paying. Our salon eventually folded up. If you must be excellent at something, from day one, tell yourself, if this is where I can get to, I'll make sure I get there. Strive for it. Don't settle for mediocrity. I don't think it's good. The second point is, we all need help. Please, don't be shy asking for help. Don't see yourself as too big. This is me, the climate policy, whatever. Mr. Ampari says I was talking to 10,000 people. I can't do this streaming. Not in a million years. I don't even want to do it. It's not my field. Yes, I can't do it. Agenda can do it. So Agenda is helping me to bring this to bear. We are not islands. We are people born into connections, into spaces. Know your spaces. Ask for the help. Don't abuse the help. And your helper also needs something. Last time I told someone, anytime you need money, you are coming to me. You've never asked, is there something I can do for you? Maybe it's an errand. Maybe you just have to help me do something, but you are always coming to me. Always coming to me. At a point, I will end it. Because help is a two-way affair. It shouldn't be of the same magnitude. But maybe all I need is for someone that I can send. Someone who can help me sweep my house because I need to run off to join Hangout. And it's not demeaning. And it leads me to my next point. Now, the youth of today, we find too many things demeaning. Too many things. Scrubbing bathroom is demeaning. But you bath in that bathroom. Don't you bath? I'm very serious. You see, when you go to East Africa, we have housekeepers and house managers. And sometimes I wonder, every time I live with a lot of domestic helps because of the kind of schedule I run. And when someone comes to live with me, I think the least I have paid is 400 cedis. The organization where I'm coming from, when I joined, I think when you enter, they pay you around 1,200. Your transportation is part. Your feeding is part. Soap, your toothpaste, everything, all your toiletries are part. Now, someone lives with me to help me. They eat my food. They use my toothpaste. They use my soap. They are not getting into any car. They are saving 400 cedis. I buy clothes. I buy shoes. We have a lot of first-degree people who can just be domestic helps to help people for just 2-3 years. And those people can set you up. But we think it's demeaning. AMA, the Juma, you don't want to go on any errands. If you go into East Africa, they are professionals. They wear uniforms. Someone comes into your home and says, oh, Shawata, they say, no, there are rules in this world, though. It's not every time that you can be free. There's a saying I've forgotten. It says that the true freedom is when you are under something else, or when you are free, you're actually not free. When you think you are free, you are not free. You cannot live without boundaries. A lot of the youth coming up, you stay home for 1 year, 2-3 years, but because of the level of education you've had, when you are in someone's home to manage that home, they will find peace. They will find comfort. Then they're going to bring someone out from maybe a very hinterland place who is not used to the amenities, problems here, then there, and they will pay you, and they can actually set you up afterwards. We need to open up our minds to the opportunities we have. Getting in there, you can even start an agency eventually to start helping people. Because we are all talking about career. Who will stay home and do the cooking? At a point, we can't do it. Let's be honest. We can't. No matter how well you want to. Maybe you do it once a month, twice a month. Like, you can't do it all. But someone who has just come from the university, who will stay home for... I have people who have stayed home for 7-8 years. But even when you ask them to come and live with you, even as family, to help you, they are not willing because they see the job as is demeaning. But everybody who has ever lived with me as a domestic help, the question I ask them is, before you came into my house, who was scrubbing the bathroom? I was doing it. I was sweeping. I'm not telling you to do anything that I can't do, just that the time would not allow. Let's open our minds and start getting into spaces that we have not thought about conventionally. What did Zoom Lions start doing? It's collection of rubbish. It's waste. That's waste. He's one of the richest people in this country right now. And he can organize this for us free of charge for 10 years. We have to go and see him for sponsorship. Amen. Yeah. The third bit is that, please, when we ask people to mentor us, let's also make the time. Emerin asked the question, if your mentor doesn't have time. I went to a conference, and the people who spoke, like Sampari and Koki have spoken, then someone said, you people, when we come for these meetings, we see you. You speak to us after the meeting, we don't have access to you. Then one of the resource persons took the mic. I thought she was going to. She said, the fact that you saw me on this panel doesn't mean you own my time. Like, straight. She said, earn my time. My time is precious. You don't just see me here and then because I saw you, that's it. Earn my time. What are you also bringing to my table as I mentor you? Why should I mentor you? Do you see the potential you have? If you don't, you will abuse it. There was someone who walked to me and said, I want you to be my mentor. Today, she doesn't even pick my calls. Yes, because she was not ready for that brutal truth. She wasn't. She says, I don't like her. She's blocked me. Me, the mentor. Oh, I'm telling you. Unfriended me on Facebook. Yes. You see, we just want cajoling. Oh, no, I don't work like that. Me, I won't do that. If I do that, then I don't want your good. Because when you appear where I'm not there, you should represent me so well that I'll get the message. But if you go and then you are not called again, I didn't do something well. Mentorship is not always that nice. We sitting here. This one is just the group thing, so. That's why when you see husband and wife outside, most times they're holding hands. Oh, honey, honey. When they get inside, it's not always honey, honey. But they understand themselves, and they are growing by the day. I was tempted to say hallelujah. Amen. But finally, if you know me, not to bore you, I am someone who always believes. Not that I'm someone who always believes. Like, my life is just God. Just God, just the favor of God. I don't know where I came from. Me, like at the first hangout I told you, I've sold sugar cane before. Today, if I tell any first degree person to go and sell sugar cane, they will insult me. I'm the darkest. My sister is here. My two sisters are all here. One was doing condensed milk toffee. I'll sell it. The other one was doing cocoa drink. The one with the penny. Most of you don't know. We've sold it. My mom has sold almost everything, Sam. When I started first my national service, I was selling perfumes. Even now, if some of my team members are here, they are selling earrings for me, and they have my money, which I'm waiting for. I'm selling earrings at this level. The grace of God is what has kept me. If you take God out, all this that we are doing, the end will not be beautiful. You can start well, but Bible says it's not really the beginning that matters, the end thereof. And on this note, I want to invite you. Abi Hangout crew, we did this event, or on this Sunday, my church, we have a special program. Networking, biggest networking platform. A special invitation to Kokui. You don't know, you might meet the MD of EcoBank there. MD of Omni Basic there, and what they can do for you. The Keeper's House Chapel this Sunday. If you have time, let's make it there. But on a more important note, please, be well grounded in God. And when I say God, I'm not talking about any other God. You can talk about your God, but my God is my Jesus. That's the one I'm talking about. So thank you so much for your time. This year, we have planned 4 events. So everything we are doing is according to the survey we had at the first event. The survey said we should try and do quarterly events. We should bring new people to come speak with you. We brought these 2 amazing people to speak with you today. We'll try and do other events. We are growing. At a point in time, we might get into looking for sponsorship because it costs money to do these things. But by God's grace, now we have some funds that we are using to do this. So wherever you see, we have WhatsApp platforms, and we put opportunities there. I remember one of us did some training program, posted it there, that was out of the different engagements. So please make use of those things that we put on the pages when you also find out places that we can also draw resources from or learn. Please put them there as well. And make use of that one encounter. When Kokui was talking about how we met, I was blown away by her because I'd only seen her on TV, okay? I'd never seen her moderating an event. Then I walk into a carbon market event. Carbon market. Even we who say we are experts, every day something new comes up. And then she picks the mic. And then the kind of questions she was answering, like moderating the session. I was like, hey, people are there. Oh. Don't go into a place thinking you are a mega ho-ho, Charlie. There are things in people. And that's how come I took her number. And I actually told her afterwards that Because we go to events, we see the moderators, they just use the script. I didn't see her with any particular script. She was so organic. The question comes up, she links it. It takes someone who's done research. And she was coming to moderate the event. She wasn't even the one coming to speak to the event itself, but she put herself out and she challenged us. If the moderator is this good, you who has been invited as the expert. So if I killed it because you gave me pressure. And also to appreciate Carly. We met once. Carly, yes, once. We met once. She told me that she does moderation. She saw the Hangout ad on my status. She said, I want to be there. I told her, please, you're a professional MC. We are not paying now. We don't have money. So we'll do it amongst. She said, I am okay not to receive anything. I just want to be in this space. And I believe she's done a fantastic job. Please, let's appreciate her as well. And everybody and their job. Oh, she came in with the cards for the minutes. We were just going to do Walla to Walla Saba. She's done a very structured moderation for us. So thank you all so much. I also want to appreciate my husband. He's somewhere in the room. You know, after we had the first event, there was also a request for one-on-one sessions. I think I had some with some people in the room. If you are here, we couldn't do all. Forgive me. But those one-on-one sessions were quite intense. Then someone asked me a question. How do you deal with a husband who doesn't give you opportunities to do what you want to do? I was at a loss. I couldn't answer. I told her because I've not encountered that. I have been doing everything I want to do by God's grace. He has never hesitated. But after the call, I actually sat down, and then this thing about count your blessings, name them one by one, sank in. There are many blessings we don't count. There are people whose husbands lock them up, don't prevent them from going to even further themselves. But I have traveled, like I can do travel back to back. Tansy calls me spirit being, she and her husband. You see me at midweek service. I have gone. By Sunday service, I'm still standing there. You're like, didn't you travel? How did you go and come like this? Because first, no crowd actually is a big deal. Recently, when I traveled, I was walking on the streets of Paris, and I said, hey, normal. Like, yeah, I'm like there, just walking and singing. No, I started praying in tongues. I was like, this is not normal. I must possess this land. I am here for a reason. But Charlie, much love to my husband, Mr. Zuta. The man of many friends, but who looks quiet. He's not quiet, cry. And my entire family, my sister, if my big sister spoke at the beginning and said, I'm here for her to inspire me. Charlie, we shouldn't take things for granted. When the younger ones are inspiring the older ones, there's a mystery to it. It's a blessing. And that's where the humility I was talking about comes in, because it can get into your head and you misbehave. Thank you so much. Let the rest of the program continue.
Oh, can we give it up for Roselyn? And of course to our amazing speakers. Okay, so I think we'll just move out for our photo session, and then we'll come back for the sip and paint. Yes, so our photographers, we are taking your lead. Yes. I hope we'll all be back, but if you'll not be back, thank you for coming.